in the car. A Georgia woman who spent 4 months behind bars because she couldn't pay her bail now wants payback.
Dasha Fincher was pulled over on New Year's Eve 2016. At first, Fincher was told it was for having dark-tinted windows, but deputies in Macon County later admitted her windows were legal. They then found a clear bag with a blue substance. She said it was cotton candy. The deputies claim field tests showed there was meth in the bag. Fincher was then jailed and faced some serious charges. Eventually, another lab test was done, which said the substance was not a drug, but just cotton candy. The charges against her were eventually dropped. She's now suing. The lawsuit says a type of field test used had a history of producing false positive results. Marcus White, Fox News.
I'm Jane Metzler, Fox News.
Bring joy to your world and your budget with a holiday loan from First Hawaiian Bank. At a low 4.99% APR, fixed for 1 year, it's a smart way to add ho 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 without budget uh-oh. To apply for a holiday loan, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or FHB.com. For more information, call 1-877-640-2337. Additional restrictions apply. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hafa Adai, I'm Rod Boss. As the new president and CEO of Docomo Pacific, I want to personally thank you for voting us Pika's best mobile, internet, and cable service provider for 3 years in a row. For friends and families serving in the armed forces, you voted us Best of the Pacific again this year. Thanks.
Ask your friends and family to come over and give our mobile network a try, and we'll give them 3 months free. We have select devices up to 50% off. Sign up today. You plus Docomo Pacific. Better together.
The season of giving is here, and the stations of Choice Broadcasting want to give back. 93.3 The Point, Boss 104, Star 101, and Lux Guam present Charity of Choice. Each of our radio personalities have chosen a Guam charity that they would like to benefit.
And I chose Habitat for Humanity. Tune in daily to see how you can help.
Charity of Choice 2018 is brought to you by Choice Broadcasting Company, Lux Guam, American Water Tech, and the station that gives from the heart, 93.3 The Point.
Helen Keller once said, "Blindness separates us from things, but deafness separates us from people." At Ross Hearing Aids, it's their mission to keep you connected to the moments and the people that matter most in your life. Hearing aid technology has never been better, so schedule your complimentary hearing consultation today. Call Ross Hearing Aids, 637-HEAR, 637-4327. You should hear what you're missing.
I love you, Daddy.
How's your hearing?
Super Typhoon U2 has become one of the strongest storms on record to date. APL recognizes the damage that U2 has left behind and sees an opportunity to help our neighboring brothers and sisters in the CNMI. We humbly ask for the community's assistance in providing donations and supplies to our fellow islanders. All supplies can be dropped off to our APL office or coordinated for pickup and loading. Call 588-4651 for more details and to learn how you can help today.
Your first look at 93.3 The Point News is brought to you by Guam Hearing Doctors. Call the experts at Guam Hearing Doctors if you're worried about your hearing. The evaluation is simple and painless.
Hafa Adai and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 6 a.m. this Monday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. She's not presumptive anymore. It's official now. Lulian Guerrero is the governor-elect of Guam. The Guam Election Commission finally certifying the general election results Friday following a recount of the outstanding provisional and absentee ballots. Following the official declaration, Leon Guerrero issued a statement saying she is elated. The election season is now over and humbled by the confidence shown by the people of Guam. After the final results were certified, Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio issued a concession statement Friday afternoon thanking supporters and congratulating all those elected into office. Tenorio and his running mate Tony Atta also said they sincerely rally behind Lou and Josh and wish them the very best. With the election now officially over, Leon Guerrero said her focus will be on ensuring a smooth transition. A recount Friday of the votes for the 15th and 16th place finishers also took place in the senatorial contests, confirming the general election results. Jose Terlahi made the cut and is the 15th senator-elect with 11,930 votes. The recount was required because of the narrow difference between Terlahi and the 16th place finisher, Celestine Babauta, who ended 72 votes behind Terlahi. The Friday recount by the Guam Election Commission narrowed the difference to 54 votes, but not enough for Babauta to take the lead. The Democrats will now have a supermajority in the 35th Guam legislature when it is sworn in January. We'll have more news after this.
The problem isn't just not being able to hear or understand, or having to tell people to speak louder. Sometimes the frustration is having to repeat yourself too many times, or speaking so loud you're almost shouting. At Guam Hearing Doctors, we understand that hearing problems affect both sides. One of our goals is to help your hearing for those around you. Call us at 989-TEST to learn more.
Knowing that we have choices in medical providers locally and outside of Guam is important and reassuring. This is the reason why Calvo Select Care provides quality health care options to its members. From a wide array of local, primary, and specialty doctors and clinics to a comprehensive hospital network on island and outside of Guam, you can trust Calvo Select Care to be there for you. Federal employees and annuitants enroll today. Call 477-9808 for more information.
11 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. The government of Guam's aging emergency 911 dispatch system has been unable to record incoming calls for nearly 3 years. Management of the system is the responsibility of the Guam Fire Department, and Emergency Medical Dispatch Supervisor Cherika Chargaloff, who oversees the operations of the system, wrote a letter in August to the Guam Attorney General advising that there are no audio recordings of E911 calls due to the fact that the recorder device has been inoperable since February 2016. Chargaloff was responding to a request from the AG for a copy of the audio recording of an E911 call made in a child rape case. Senator Talina Nelson, who chairs the Committee on Public Safety, said she was very disappointed that she was never informed about the failure, despite multiple discussions with agency heads. She said it's unacceptable that the system's failings and the lack of funds to repair it are now having an impact in an ongoing criminal case. In response, GFD spokesman Kevin Riley acknowledged there have been intermittent downtime since 2016, and the E911 recording is currently inoperable. He said it has not been repaired because of the unavailability of replacement parts, but an RFP has now been issued for the purchase of a next-generation E911 system, he said. The former project coordinator for Guam Resource Recovery Partners says Wagner Gurgis may be removed as president of the company now that he has been convicted of tax fraud. Sablan told the Guam Daily Post that GRRP is a partnership and there are other people involved. He said it may be highly probable at this point that Gurgis would be removed from the partnership. Sablan said he has not had a formal business relationship with Gurgis in more than 6 years, but he said others in GRRP have been discussing Gurgis's position, and they have kept him informed. Last Tuesday, a federal jury that is, in Honolulu found Gurgis guilty of tax evasion and witness tampering. In 1996, GovGuam granted GRRP an exclusive license to build a facility in Guatali that burns garbage to produce electricity, and despite his conviction and possible ouster, Sablan said he remains a strong supporter of that waste-to-energy plant, saying the project is too important of an issue to keep Gurgis involved in light of his conviction. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now take a look at weather.
Let's see. Partly cloudy skies and isolated showers today, Kevin. East winds up to about 20 miles an hour, decreasing overnight. Expected daytime highs today, 89 degrees, and overnight lows should be about 76 degrees. Sunset tonight at 5:50, and we'll watch the sunrise come up about 6:25 this morning. Let me put the weather radar and the satellite imagery on the screen so that everybody can see what Mike is going to be most interested in this morning.
Yeah, checking radar right now, and most of the stuff that moved in yesterday evening pushing off to the west. And if you look up to our east and northeast, it looks like the clouds are kind of bowing from the northwest off to the southeast and in the east. And what I'm
Reminds me
seeing
of a
here,
puppy. It's pretty.
Yeah, it's nice. But what I'm seeing here is actually a bit of a weak shear line that's kind of pushing in. What's happening is we're getting drier air that's pushing into us in the mid-levels. You can even see it here on the satellite, how the stuff is clearing out and it's being pushed off to the southwest. All that nice clear blue, even some light pinks with this drier air coming in on the backside of this it's a very weak shear line, but it will kind of mark the time where things are going to start clearing out for us for at least a day or so. We are expecting another disturbance out to the east that could bring us a little bit.
We're doing
of
what?
rain
What are we doing? You didn't tell me about that.
Yeah, it's a little tiny one. It's in there, but it's a very weak disturbance, and then we've got an upper level low that's coming in that may also give us a chance of thunderstorms towards the end of the week. But nothing real widespread set up for us in the next few days. So it's good news.
All right. Well, there's that. Now, just real quick, what's happening with the oceans? Are we still in a surf advisory out there? Because it was rough yesterday.
Yeah, there are no official bulletins out right now, but as always, you got to be careful out there in the surf. Everything's a little elevated. We've got trade wind swell over on the east side. We've got the waning swell left over from Magny on the west side, which is really starting to die out now. That's if you're on the west side, that's what you saw.
That's what I was looking at yesterday. I'll tell you about some adventures that I had at the beach yesterday. 6:15 in the morning. That's news and weather together, brought to you by Bank Pacific, where some put branches, where others put branches. They place roots.
What are the benefits of switching to the handset payment option with GTA? For starters, you can customize a plan that matches your budget and lowers your monthly payment. HPO lets you upgrade to the latest phones whenever you want. No more waiting for a contract to end to get that slimmer, faster smartphone. Because with HPO, there are no contracts. HPO lets you design a phone plan that suits you. So join the thousands who have already switched to HPO, the most customizable phone plan on island. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply.
Reading now from the King's Crazy Holiday Menu, and the idea behind this is that everybody's got some flavors that they absolutely love around the holiday times. You got pumpkin this, and you've got turkey that, and so they've taken some of these great holiday flavors and infused them into some of the other meals that they serve there. In fact, they've got all kinds of great holiday combos, $12.99. And what are we talking about when we say combo? How about roast turkey and bone-in ham steak, or roast turkey and pot roast, or roast turkey and chicken Kelligwin, and there's roast turkey and pork chops even. It's good. And it's $12.99. That's crazy. With a K at King's. Also with a K.
You know what they need for a proper holiday menu? Deer.
Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dededo, 633-4473, Hagåtña, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
Well, look, they're all here. Portions of the program brought to you by Micronesia Renewable Energy. Never been a better time to go solar. You'll also find my friends with their advertisements here on the radio from American President Lines. APL is shipping the future. American Water Tech, smarter water, better water. And, of course, the guys over at Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all your open heart surgery needs.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Benventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumamo. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Portions of the program also brought to you by my pals over at Cold Stone, as in Cold Stone Creamery, the ultimate ice cream experience. Been doing this for a long, long time, and they've got some great new flavors that they want you to try out specific to the holidays, including the new sea salt caramel pie scream cake. There's so much going on over here. We've got the fresh sea salt caramel ice cream, and then a moist yellow cake, and then they put it all in a graham cracker pie crust. So you've got ice cream, you've got cake, you've got pie, all in one. Cold Stone Creamery at GPO and the Micronesia Mall.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
that weekend? Was that long enough for everybody? It was if you work in the government of Guam, the Planet Gov Guam, then what? 1, 2, 3, 4 days since we've all been together. Will you remember where everything is at the office? Will you remember your extension number at the desk?
I think it's okay because they really don't work anyway.
Oh, stop that now! Stop! Don't be a hater. You know what? There's a change coming up, and nobody's working now. Nobody's working. Everything is lame duck between here and the inauguration.
Oh, they're working.
There ain't gonna be anything going.
They're packing.
They're packing. Where does everything go? Yes, there's going to be a run on. Go to the National Office Supply and buy as many of those bankers boxes as you can. This is going to be like before a typhoon, you know, where you get guys that go out and buy these 4x8 sheets of plywood from, and that's not to shutter their places. That's so that after the typhoons, they can sell 4x8s for double what they paid for it. So I'm thinking the same thing. You know, we get this transition time, and as I said, everybody's lame duck. So swing by National Office Supply, buy as many bankers boxes as you can, and then you'll be able to sell them for double what you paid.
Something tells me folks of this administration would probably be more akin to shredding.
Shredding? It's possible. There might be some of the shredding and burning. I don't know. I mean, that presumes that there's been some kind of corruption. We have a sound effect for corruption?
I would never assume that.
There's something to hide. Yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about that as, we've got the big story left over from Friday when nobody was paying attention to it except Maria Pangilinan and her team over at the Guam Election Commission when they did all of the counts and the recounts and everything to determine what it was that we're going to end up with here in terms of no longer, as Kevin points out, presumptive as much as now we have an actual governor and lieutenant governor elect. And I want to say congratulations to my Auntie Lou and Josh Tenorio over at now getting ready. Now presiding over this transition that they're going to be conducting. In fact, I had the opportunity to see Auntie Lou and Jeff at a get-together on Saturday night for my Uncle Frank Shimizu celebrating his 80th birthday. So let me just start off with that. Uncle Frank, happy 80th birthday to you. And it was great to see the family, the kids, and the grandkids, and the great-grandkids. Mm-hmm. And it was also cool because, it's Frank Shimizu. There's Ambrose. There's a virtually unlimited supply of Bud and Bud Light. Nice. There are people camped out over at there may still be people at the museum left over from that Saturday night party. I don't know that they ever. There's 2 big Budweiser trucks out in the front of the thing.
Nice.
That's how you knew it was going to be. This is going to be a great party. At any rate, so I had an opportunity to say hello and hug up to Auntie Lou Leon Guerrero, and there's a picture of me hugging her. And so I'm a social guy. I'm a social media guy, right? So I take this picture and I post it up on Facebook and Instagram, and that is probably the most popular picture on Facebook and Instagram right now. I mean, this is getting more hits on my page than the day my daughter was born. I mean, everybody loves or seems to be loving up on Lou Leon Guerrero. And even if you didn't vote for, you know what? As my friend Tedo says, the election's done. The people have spoken. Now it's time to get behind her and her team. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if we can get some of the team members on the air this morning to talk about what it's going to be in the transition. Very interesting letter to the editor that Dr. Souder put together in one of the newspapers over the weekend. We'll touch base on that. Yes, sir?
I think in light of the confirmation of the election, though, the burning question that everyone listening to this program wants to know.
Question, yes.
Yes. How many write-in votes did Ray Gibson get?
I don't know that we'll have that information. Normally, unless it's going to make a difference. And in this case, they knew after about 22,000 or so write-ins for Frank that that wasn't going to make a difference. I think they just said, okay, we're done. We'll count those later. I think the write-ins got 22,000 some, right? Yeah. So arguably some of those are going to be Ray Gibson or Bob Klitsky or Kevin Kerrigan. Or
they'll count them.
They will count them, and there will be a report.
Because we will think that's fun, regardless of how, important it is.
Oh, hands down. I don't disagree with that at all. But, I'm Ray Gibson. I have a fun time all the time. It's 6:23 in the morning. Let's say hello to everybody.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. And they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
Hold on a second. I'm Googling something. Beards for men Older men. There we go.
Yeah, I was going to say, see, what you need to do really is you need to figure out what beard works best for your shape of face. And
Right.
you've got kind of a triangular head.
Yeah.
So you'll have to find, I would do a search on that. Beards for triangular shape. I'm more of a round head.
There's a whole article that I was goofing off looking at the other day. Anyway, so let me do this first. Let me say hello to Ismail. It says no shave till Brooklyn. Yes, rip off the old Beastie Boys. Till Mo Cotton says I'm here. Tommy Barcinas is there. Good morning, Ramon and team. Somebody was asking me why they're called why I'm Ramon, and I have many nicknames. We'll talk about that. Maybe Dora Marie Ferger and Jeff Ojeda saying good morning. Anita Muffness with the Valentine's eyes. Have a John Ray tight to know is there, and Michelle Peer I understand is watching this morning. Adonis Mendiola. Johnson Nicholas says good morning all. Have a great day Guam. There's Zaywert Julian saying buenos Guam. Yoich Ringil, Mingo Ree, Yoich is saying, Ray, so you decided not to shave. You looked very different. Randy Kruger, Cindy Rapatis is there. What's Jay Word saying? Woostig Road stoplight malfunctioning since Friday. Well, you're going to have to do it the old way, man. Just gun it. Just put your, say a little silent prayer and just gun it, dude.
Does the Woostig family have to pay for that out of their pocket?
No. It's, the Navy does that, I think.
Okay.
Derek Kanata is there. Juanita Machi, no shave Monday. Ray, yes, no question mark. No shave Monday, Ray? No, this has been since Thanksgiving. And I'll tell you a little bit of the rest of the story a little bit later on. Winnie Machi, Anthony Kaminga saying, half a day from Washington State. Happy belated Thanksgiving to you and everybody out in that corner, the upper left-hand corner of the United States. Rai St. Nicholas is online this morning as well. We'll go over some of the other names as they pop up on the list here. But suffice to say, it's Monday. I'm here, and I'm really glad you're there. So a couple of things that are on the top of my table of contents this morning, and among them, like I said, is the unshaven face. This makes no difference to anybody actually listening to the radio right now, because you can't see.
Well, the beard sounds great.
It
really does.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
It's rumbling. It's rumbling up against the Heil microphone here this morning. So a couple of things is I haven't shaved. I didn't shave on Thursday, Friday, and we talked about this on Friday. It was a thing that my dad taught me about making the weekend last as long as possible. And since I didn't win the Gov Guam lottery, we had to work on Friday. But I decided that this was going to be my little protest here. Was that I'd grow the beard in protest of being private sector, going to work so that people in the public sector could take the day off, which is essentially how that all worked out. Anyway, it got to be Saturday, didn't shave, Sunday didn't shave, and today it's Monday. And so yesterday I started looking up some interesting beard styles. You're right. There's not everybody can grow the same kind of beard, and not everybody is, it's not just a question of don't shave and then all of a sudden you'll get this full distinguished beard out. Yeah. Eventually, it's going to take a little bit of work. So I've decided, and I think I'm just going to let this go for a little bit. I'm just going to wait and see.
And it's one thing when you're going to grow a beard, the first thing is you have to commit to it and commit to growing at least a couple of weeks. It'll take a couple of weeks for it to fill in, and you start to kind of get a look for what you're going for. And at the same time, study. Like I say, for a triangular shaped head like yours, there's a specific beard type that actually will enhance the appearance. What I'd also recommend is about a week in, you want to shave the neck part.
The fade.
And shave the neck up to about the jawline so that you can see the beard, but not have that nasty looking neck hair that's down there, because that's what makes it look better.
There's Beards 101, a bunch of different places on the web that you can go to. So I'm gonna mess around with this for probably a couple of weeks and see what happens.
I want to be your beard coach.
A what?
Your beard coach.
Blake's got a better beard than you. Why would I let you be the beard coach? You've seen Blake's beard, right?
Blake's beard goes all over the place, and he has to get somebody to fix it for him. This one I have here is all me, man.
Wait, so there's a girl named Ashley. Ashley Haircut is what I call her, because she's Ashley over at Rosie Ruse. She does my hair. Will she charge extra to do beard trimming and things like that?
Do we know? Ask her. You probably get a little extra.
I always tip her big anyway. 628. So that's one of the other things. But a couple of other things. You might also notice there's additional red in my face today, and that's because yesterday was Grill Marks Sunday. Yesterday was the perfect day to go to the beach, as long as you didn't get in the water. As long as you didn't actually get in the water. Yeah. And so I'm over at Gun Beach yesterday, and I see a bunch of guys, a couple of guys go out on paddle boards, and they went out through the channel and made it out okay, and then they went up and down, up and back a little bit, and I think they decided today's not a good day to be on a paddle board on this side of the reef, and they tried to come back in. And that was, for at least one of them, very, very tricky. And that's when I became very concerned. I was getting ready to leave, and I look, and there's this head bobbing up and down in the water. And fortunately, he was able to get back over the reef onto his buddy's board. And then they lashed up the boards together and then went back and forth looking for a cut, an opportunity, a break in the waves to come back in, and it never came. And so naturally, we're all of us on the beach are starting to pay attention to this and go, okay, well, I wonder if there's a way that we might be able to assist these lads. And the way that we all decided to assist these lads was with phone calls to 911. Let the fire department and the police department come out and take care of that, and they did. And they did. Thankfully, that I know of, there were no fatalities for sure. I think at least one of the guys might have been a little bit cut up when he tried to make it over the reef line. So I spent the next, while we're waiting for the rescue boat to come in, there were a couple of divers that came up, fully suited divers, because there's a nice little channel out there, and I don't know, there's mermaids and pirate treasure, and I don't know what it is, but it's very, very attractive to divers. And I walked right up to them and I said, I would not recommend that you go on the other side of the reef today. There's plenty of nice snorkeling that you can do inside the bay, but if you go on the reef, he said, and I pointed out to the guys over at the on the paddle boards, I said, those guys tried to get back in, and they could not. And the same thing could happen to you. And they kind of looked at me like, well, you look like you know what you're talking about. And I said, dude, I'm certified advanced. And I know what these waters can do if you're unprepared to get out there. And they looked at me, and then they looked at each other and went back to the car. I think they went over to the beach bar and decided we're going to go diving over there. And did the same thing with a couple of snorkelers. It was just that kind of day. So you got to be careful. Even though the radar is clear, even though there doesn't seem to be anything on the satellite, there's still some pretty big winds left over from the storm, and that's causing the churn that you're seeing. So be very, very careful out there in the water. 6:31 in the morning. Is there anything on the table of contents that we might be able to talk about here today? There's the good news that the Guam Election Commission has again certified the results, and it looks like we're in for the First Lady Governor of Guam, Lou Leon Guerrero, taking stage with Josh Tenorio, and they're going to be talking about a transition. Apparently, they're going to be meeting today with members of the Calvo Tenorio administration to talk about some transition details.
They met last week, and they're planning on meeting every week, according to a release they sent out.
Is that going to be the case? So it's
out of the limelight, quietly.
Oh, no. These need to be public meetings. We need to see. Remember, there's a list that I brought. It's the list of crap that I want Lou and Josh to fix. And then I think there's going to be a second list of crap that Lou and Josh are going to get to blame the previous administration for. And so I think that's really what they're going to be negotiating about.
I think it would be cool to cover the transition proceedings like a golf game. And now they're approaching the desk. They're sitting down at the table. They're grabbing their pen.
Look, Tony Babauta is using a what is that? That's a cross.
Yeah,
I don't see too many cross pens anymore these days.
Tenorio casting a long gaze at Leon Guerrero.
6:32 in the morning.
Boring.
All right. Yeah. We'll work through a couple of those issues and see what we can find out. What some of the major big deals are for the transition team, up to and including the plans for an inaugural of some kind or another. Now, what is this? The story that I read about in the Post. They're not able to use campaign funds for the inaugural party.
Apparently so.
Why is that? Is it like a law? Is it policy? I mean,
election law.
Well, does that mean that we have to use taxpayer money for the inauguration?
We'll find out, won't we?
Let's do that this morning. There's not going to be any more taxpayer money at the rate they're spending and traveling these days, is there?
Yeah.
That's my thinking. Anyway, 6:33 in the morning, and we'll talk about that and more. And to find out what else we're going to be talking about, how about a healthy dose of headlines from the Guam Daily Post? Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, the U.S. Immigration Service has responded to the Guam Contractor Association's call for a contempt order against immigration. In a response filed Friday in Guam District Court, Assistant U.S. Attorney Glenn Girdhary said that the request for contempt and sanctions is meritless and inappropriate. Contractors Association Attorney Jeff Joseph filed a contempt request on November 3rd over what he said was the Immigration Service's continued willful denial of H-2B petitions from island businesses seeking permission to hire skilled foreign workers for non-military related construction projects. Immigration has been granting H-2B visas since April for military-related projects, as they're required to do under the National Defense Authorization Act. In his opposition to that request for contempt, Geert Harry argued that USCIS has fully complied with the court's permanent injunction issued last February. The Agana Public Swimming Pool is closed again until further notice. John Kramer, the Recreation Administrator at the Department of Parks and Recreation, confirmed that the pool has been shut down because of a leak. The exact location of the leak is not known. He said they need to figure out more details before reopening. The media was not informed of the closure, but a notice was posted on the front gate last Tuesday advising that the pool was closed until further notice. Some pool users say that the pool has had a reoccurring leak problem for years and suggested to the Post that another reason for the closure could be a DPR's failure to pay its water bill. Guam Water Works Authority spokeswoman Heidi Ballendorf declined to comment on that question. The Agana Public Pool was shut down in March in what the governor then said was a cost-cutting move in the face of a budget crisis. In May, the pool was shut down again after swimmers complained of an outbreak of green algae in the pool. 24 bills and a veto override on the agenda for the November legislative session, scheduled to get underway Wednesday. Senator Tom Atta is seeking to override Governor Eddie Calvo's veto of his Bill 28, which seeks to improve Guam's protest-plagued procurement process. The governor rejected the bill last month, saying both the Attorney General and the General Services Agency opposed the measure. During last week's Rule Committee hearing, concern was expressed about the number of bills set to be heard during the 3-day session this week. Senator Atta said it'd be unlikely they could get through them all, and so the senators decided to set priority measures. Among the priority bills to be heard are Senator Nelson's Bills 365 and Bill 144, requiring peace officers to meet certain physical fitness standards and to establish the Guam Landlord and Tenant Rental Act. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
iConnect time. It's 6:36. Swing by iConnect and learn about the incredible sweepstakes that they've got going on for you right now. How do you become eligible? Sign up for a 12-month plan for internet or push-to-talk or mobile plans, and then you'll instantly be enrolled in the contest. Now, you get a great instant prize, a weekly prize that they're giving away every week, and then the grand prize that they're going to be doing, a drawing for you and a friend to go and enjoy Manila and to stay at the Holiday Inn Express that they've got out there. You're going to love it, so sign up today at iConnect.
Once upon a time, if you suffered a stroke, extreme form of cancer, or needed specialized care like open heart surgery, you had to go off-island for treatment. Today, GRMC provides this care so patients recover on Guam, surrounded by family. Follow-up care happens locally, and there are no additional expenses for a caregiver to travel with you. If you're a federal employee or retiree, choose Calvo Select Care, the only insurance plan serving the federal market that includes GRMC, where patients are partners.
6:37, looking at the traffic gizmo this morning. Things looking pretty clear at most of the major intersections. If I see a little bit of a slowdown over in front of the intersection of 1 and 3 as people trying to make their way into the schoolyards back there, a little bit of a slowdown in front of the downtown Tumuni, Upper Tumon area as people are headed towards Kmart and John F. Kennedy High School. But it looks fairly clear just about everywhere else. Don't see anything in front of Big Navy or Navy Hospital or Anderson Air Force Base just yet. That may change as we move through this hour and into the next. 6:38 in the morning. That's right now traffic here on The Point.
Hungry? Stop by Circle K for Craft Kitchen's hot breakfast, lunch, and dinner items delivered fresh 3 times a day. Circle K. Take it easy. Be your own barista at Circle K. Create your perfect beverage with our large selection of premium coffees, sweeteners, and creamers, including 2% almond milk and soy milk. Circle K. Take it easy.
Ray Gibson brings you closer to the action. Morning talk that matters. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
$6:38. I'm sweating. must be a hot show already, or maybe the air conditioner is still in holiday mode. Not sure. I just checked the thermostat gizmo and turn that thing down to a respectable numbers. This is nice. A Monday morning on the Ray Gibson Show. 888-8255, as the man says, or send me the WhatsApps 988-5874. Again, 988-5874. And the deal on the WhatsApp is it's cool technology, and the fun is I'll be able to take all kinds of stuff that you send me, pictures and funny memes and bits and pieces of audio that are fun, and stick those on the internet. In fact, I WhatsApped myself here this morning. I sent myself a picture of Lou and I just hugging it up over at Uncle Frank's 80th birthday party, and a couple of people were, saw me and saw the picture and saw the post on Facebook and said, "What were you guys talking about? What was the subject of the conversation that came up between you and Lou Leon Guerrero, or Lou Lee as we call her in the family?" And the honest to God answer is every year around the holidays, Lou Leon Guerrero. Maybe not a well-known fact, but Lou Leon Guerrero is a great baker. And every year around the holidays, she puts together this incredible spread. And I think one of my favorite things that she does is it's like her own version of Reese's. It's got a little peanut butter, and then she covers it with chocolate, and it's so good. And there's a bunch of it. She used to come to the radio station with a big tin, and I would covet this stuff. And it was one of those, generally I'm a very generous and sharing person, but when it came to the stuff that she makes around the holidays, I didn't share that with anybody. That's all mine. You want that? You love up Lou Leon Guerrero. And maybe she'll make some for you as well. So honest to God, that's one of the things that we were talking about, and obviously extending her the congratulations of winning the election and getting the process certified. That was an exciting cup. And now she's, I think, growing into that role. As lieutenant, I'm sorry, not as lieutenant, but governor-elect. I think she's moving into that role and learning how to get along with or to get by with security. I guess they're moving with security these days. And a question that I had asked her the last time that we were talking before the election, I'd asked her a question: "Are you staying at Government House?" And I think the answer might be yes. They're going to stay over at Government House, and the reason why is it has to do with being able to provide, I guess, some security in the location that they're currently at right now. What the heck, people's house and that kind of thing. 888-8255 is the phone number. 6:41 in the morning, and also ran into Maria Pangilinan there, who looked like, I don't want to say that she had been run through the ringer, but she looked like she'd been working real hard recently and trying to put a period at the end of the sentence that begins with the 2018 gubernatorial election and the general election. Looks like they're finally done with all of that stuff. I still got a couple of questions about where we are, and one of the other interesting findings was this might have had the lowest voter turnout in the history of Guam gubernatorial elections. 66%, I think it's 66.8% of registered voters actually went out and cast a ballot. And ask me, that number's
recent history.
Recent history. Yeah. That's a terribly low number. Yeah. And I guess one of the reasons they said that so many people were staying away or that did not go out was they were just turned off by some of the negative campaigning that was going on and some of the black hat and psyops that were taking place. Really, is that what it came down to? Is that, and I'm kind of, I'd like to do some research on that. I don't want to do it. I'm lazy. I'd like somebody to do some kind of research on that to find out if that's actually the case. Was it that kept people away, or maybe you just wanted a different slate of candidates? So you just looked at the three and said, well, I wish there was somebody else that I could vote for, but there wasn't. And so as a result, you just stayed home. Is that what happened? It doesn't ring correct with me for some reason, and I don't know that it had anything to do with the negative ads and the black hat stuff that was out there floating around. It's not the first time we've had an election where there was that kind of tenor, if you will, on the political conversation. We have seen that kind of thing before, and people came out and voted. And in fact, some would probably argue that even as down and dirty as these campaigns were, They pale in comparison to some of the other black hat stuff that was floating around in prior elections. I'm sure if you talk to Robert Underwood about that, or Felix Camacho, or any number of guys that have run for the office, I'm sure that they would probably agree with that and saying, that was nothing. You should have seen what they did to me and my family back in the day. 6:44 in the morning. A bunch of other faces that I want to recognize on the Facebook Live here this morning, including Brad Hewitt. Welcome back. Missed you on Friday. Mark Mendiola, Lawrence J. El Cairo. And what have I got here? Another note here from Brad Hewitt. Jaywort, Franco Julian, and abandoned car in front of the football field facing in the wrong direction. And we're still talking about Wistig Road here. Carmelian Guerrero, Bob Lizama is there, Vicky Ganesius Borja, and Doris Mendiola, Greg Karabrock, Bob and Connie Bartonico. Good to see you two over the weekend. Ruth Lujan. See Lillian Cruz, Yuka Oguma from the Guahan Insurance, Lena McDaniel Hammond. Good morning to you, Lillian Cruz, and Linda Gabriel, Evan Montval-Cohen. Nice to see your name there. Renee and Pat Taitagui, Lynn Perez, Roy Burgess, and Kenley Unguerrero, and Kenny Williams. Lucky today, guy. I think we got just about everybody. Carlos Barreto from Shooting Stars saying, good morning, Ray and Team Point. Short time and lots of bills. This is why we need a part-time legislature, says Brad. Get rid of all these fringe bills that pander to small segments of the population. I took a look at it. I don't have them in front of me. I don't have the report from the Committee on Rules. One of the other people I ran into on Saturday night over at Uncle Frank's get-together was Therese Terlai, acting Speaker of the Legislature, Therese Terlai, and we got to talking about things I'd like to see. It kind of gave her a little bit of a presumptive, okay, Madam Speaker, and she says, well, we'll see. And we got to talking about things that I'd like to see. I said, you know what, you're the speaker, the acting speaker of the legislature right now. You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see when the Rules Committee meets and they finally come out with the agenda for a session, that they give you the name of the bill and the title of the bill and all of the bits and pieces of the bill so that you know what they are. Normally, they don't do that, and journalists have to go and take the extra 5 minutes that, frankly, somebody at the legislature should be doing to fill in the blanks on all of that. So an informed population can see exactly what it is that the legislature is going to be toying with between now and the end of the 34th Guam legislature as they go into the 35th Guam legislature. Now, there was rumor that there wasn't going to be too much by way of thorny issues on the legislative agenda, and as I understand it, there were a number of bills that they looked at, but recognizing they only had a little bit of time to make it through this session, they've decided to pare it down to about a dozen or so bills that they're going to be talking about. And I think the one that is probably going to be the most controversial, but probably the best supported, is the 50-year lease that they're trying to get for the Guam Raceway Park. There are some, and you've heard them on this program, that refer to that as a sweetheart deal for somebody. But the truth is that they're not going to be able to do anything with by way of growing the Raceway Park without some kind of a long-term lease, which is why they've gone to Senator Tom Atta, who's done this kind of thing before, and said, can we work out a 50-year plan for the Raceway Park so that we can entice people to come in and make long-term investments in that park. At any rate, I think, like I said, that's probably going to be the most controversial bill that they're going to be talking about down there, but again, widely supported. If anybody that was in the downtown Agutnia area recalls what it was like there, I want to say it was a Wednesday night, so you had everything going on over at Chamorro Village and then the area by the church, and the legislature was absolutely packed. Absolutely packed. There must have been a couple of hundred people out there. There's barbecues going on, and motorcycle riders were coming out, and it was a big deal. So we'll see where that's going to be going. My guess is it's probably going to sail through the legislature with no major problems. There's a few other bills, but like I said, nothing really that caught my attention. There's one in there that proposes, and I've got to read it. I kind of don't want to talk about it because I haven't actually read the bill, but there's one that proposes setting standards for men and women in uniform, fire department, police department. What is it now? This is the standards on
Got to be in shape.
Got to be in shape. Yep. Got to be CrossFit ready or something like that. Didn't they try that a couple of years ago? Didn't somebody come out with something like that and they said, nope, can't do it. Yeah, we looked at this and so we're going to try to meet the Air Force standards, and then they looked at that and said, nah, can't do it.
That's too hard.
I can't. Push-ups? No way. I can't. Come on. I like rice.
I'm gonna sweat.
I want to eat rice. What's the line? if the police pull you over, don't run because you'll just go to jail tired. Because they'll eventually catch you. They will eventually. They got radio and radar and things like that. But the other big controversy here. This needs to be made a big deal because in my mind, it's almost criminally negligent. And I thought we'd seen the last of the 911 drama, right? The 911 drama. You remember earlier in the year, we've got no less than an FCC commissioner that is looking kind of sideways at Guam, saying, well, what do you mean they took all of the money that you were supposed to be spending on buying a new E911 system and you used it for something else? And we thought, well, I guess we're just kind of stuck with this until somebody comes up with some kind of rule or regulation that says you're not supposed to do that under some kind of penalty of the law. And now but at least we had a semblance of a working system, or so we thought. Apparently, the recording capabilities of the 911 system don't work now, have not worked since, February of 2016. Because what did they say? We're missing a part?
Kaput.
What?
That's right. They don't have the money to buy replacement parts.
Yeah, and not only that, but
my phone can record phone calls.
But if you call 911 on your cell phone, you have to tell them where you are because they can't find you.
The location services. I mean, that would be part of an enhanced system that we don't have. They've been talking about getting some kind of procurement on it, and it needing to get blessed by the Attorney General's office. I think they finally got around to doing that, and now we're waiting out the bids from some people that might be able to come and provide us a system. But in the meantime, our existing 911 system, and I think, system loosely defined is you can call 911 and somebody will answer the phone. But there was a time, I believe, that it was making recordings because we had been denied access to some of the recordings. That is one of the things I want us to be able to get to in this new 911 system. I pretend to be a journalist. I'm mostly a commentator, but I've got a journalist that sits next to me, and I'm sure there have been cases in the past where, as a journalist, you went to 911, the police department, saying, can I get a copy of the 911 tape? And the answer generally is no, isn't it?
Because they don't have one.
But I always thought the answer was no because we don't want to give it to you. We don't want to share it with you. That
So did I.
might tip our hand in some kind of an investigation or something like that. But as it turns out, it probably couldn't do it, certainly in the last couple of years, because it doesn't work. Now, the guy said it was intermittent. Is that what he said when he talked to the Post?
Yes, that's what Kevin Riley told me.
Kevin Riley said the system is intermittent. Do we know when the last time it worked was?
But Charika Chargaloff said there have been no recordings since February 2016.
Mhm.
So you take your pick.
I take the one where it says there's no recording since 2016. It's intermittent, and it doesn't work anymore. It might work again, but nobody's tried since 2016. This is, how do I want to say this? It's a travesty. It is an outrage, if
They
you
could
ask
have
me.
at least hired a stenographer with a listen in to record the call.
Well, so I'm sorry. I'm electronically trained, and I have a certification. I am an amateur extra radio amateur radio operator, and I am a certified broadcast technologist, which means that I have parchment in the office that says that I'm allowed to mess around with all kinds of systems. And we've got systems here at the radio station, but we're making recordings that even I don't know exist. I mean, it just is something that comes into the system, and you press a button and it starts recording. And so I'm kind of curious as to which part of the system failed, and maybe there's a solution that they can get. I'll give you an example. I mean, is it just a question of being able to get something to record a phone call? You can download a program called Audacity on the internet. It doesn't cost you anything to download the program. Kevin and I have been using Audacity for years. There's a Mac version of it. There's a PC version of it. There's a Unix version of Audacity. And it will allow you for absolutely no money whatsoever to make a recording of any audio that goes through that system. So I'm kind of curious as to which part of the system broke down, and maybe a guy like Bob Kelly and I, with a couple of alligator clips and Cat 6 wires, can go fix it. Hey, Bob, good morning.
Good morning, Ray.
It's your turn to talk. I already did.
Okay, well, I was just going to say there are systems out for recording calls that are available off the shelf. They aren't that expensive. The technology's been around for about, 25, 30, 40 years. Why they did not put another system in when they couldn't get parts for this, I guess, is either a lack of priorities or a lack of money. And I guess my recommendation...
Well, it can't be a lack of money because we just had a paid government holiday the other day. So there's obviously money in the system. Eddie Calvo flying to Washington, D.C. again. So obviously we've got money.
But it's not in the 911 money budget.
Well, it's because they took the 911 money and rolled that over into something else, Festback or something. I don't know.
That's why there's not the money there. Anyway, what I was going to say is I think one of the first recommendations I will have to the new administration is it's going to take some time, maybe up to a year, to transition to a new NG 911.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to put recording and a couple of fixes in here to make this current system as usable as possible while they're going through the planned upgrade.
I don't disagree with that. I can't disagree with that. And the thing is that there are technology experts all over the place that would be able to say this is where your audio is coming from, and all we got to do is take this out there. And I was only halfway kidding when I said a couple of alligator clips and some Cat 6 wire to be able to get audio into some kind of device that will record.
You're not far off. The lines coming in right now are analog telephone lines. There's no Gamma Annie lines like you remember we used to do long distance with back in the old days. Remember Gamma Annie?
I remember copper wire, sure.
Well, no, we called the technology Gamma Annie.
Okay.
Back before we had our feature group D in '96. Anyway, that's the technology for the 911 incoming calls. And that can be recorded quite simply by just adding telephone recorders on it.
Yep. Nothing impossible. And so, like I said, I'm trying to figure out which of the parts of the system that are out there, why they could not get it fixed, and why they didn't say anything to anybody. I mean, that's the other part. You can't find. I mean, this it sounds like a problem. Literally, you and Chris could today go over there and get a lash-up system that will allow for the recording and archiving of 911 calls.
Absolutely, but here's the other question I have. If this has been going on 3 years and they haven't reported it, what other problems do they have we don't know about?
You think we're going to have to wait until after the inauguration to find out what's been swept under the rug all these years?
Absolutely. It'll be a very interesting time to find out exactly what's going on over there.
Well, I guess the other interesting thing is as they mark the transition, who are they going to be putting there that will need to look under the refrigerator and behind the stove, if you will, to see what's been swept through there? Do you have any sacred knowledge on who they're talking to over at?
If they ask me, I have a few recommendations of people who could competently run the 911.
Yep. And then there was another conversation that you and I have had about maybe bringing in a third party to host and manage the 911 system.
I do believe that it should go to a telephone company, whether that be GTA, Docomo, or IT&E, to manage, because they have the trained technicians and engineers that can run the system. The government of Guam does not. I believe the government of Guam should hire and train and supervise the dispatchers, but the system up to the terminal, which is the hardware and all of the back office computers and technology, should be managed by a telephone company.
Don't disagree. They've got the access to the resources, the people that can manage the resources, and in some cases have probably got access even to backup systems that might not be available to the government of Guam. And I'm sure they could. I'm sure we could come up with a guy at iConnect or IT&E or Docomo or GTA that could figure out how to record phone calls.
Plus, all of the phone companies have data centers that are properly managed, air-conditioned, and proper power to run the system.
Yeah. Jeff Pleadwell's asking, what if we refuse to pay the 911 fee, which is something that came up as we were talking with the commissioner? If those monies aren't being used for the purposes that the law provides, why should I continue to pay it?
That is a good question, and I think under the FCC Truth in Billing, he would have a good case not to pay it. However, it will then be forwarded to the local PUC, which would have to enforce it, and it would be a lot of hassle for a few dollars, but somebody could do that.
Yeah.
What I would tell Jeff, however, is we're only a month and a half away from a new administration, and we should not take away and tie their hands for what the current administration has failed to do.
Well, there's a concern there because they're talking about opening up RFPs here in just a little bit, and it's possible that the lame duck administration might buy a system that the next administration might find unsuitable.
It is a concern that I have brought forward to the new administration that the RFP submission date ends on the 30th of November. I do not believe that they should choose the system and the technology and the operations moving forward when they failed to deal with it for 8 years, and they should let the new administration have a clean slate to choose a system and how it's going to operate.
Bob Kelly's actually certified in 911 ops at levels that I don't think anybody else in the Pacific has, so I'm glad that you've got eyes on all of this. Bob, I'll talk to you pretty soon.
Thanks.
7 o'clock in the morning, or really, really close to it. The radio station is KUSG Gutnia, 93.3 The Point. The Ray Gibson Show is on the air now at this time. The bearded, and so far, what have I got? The one complaint that says I look like Tiny Tim's dad. All right, I'm going to Google that while the news is playing. Stand by for Fox News Live.
The Border Patrol now firing tear gas as some migrants try to make a break for the U.S. I'm Jane Metzler, Fox News. It was not unexpected. Some migrants from that caravan now stuck in Tijuana tried to breach a border fence, and U.S. Border Patrol agents responded. Robert Perez, Deputy Commissioner of Customs and Border Patrol Operations.
This caravan and this phenomenon and how it's manifested itself is absolutely unique to anything that we had seen in the past. The mere size of the group of this caravan and the violence that has been perpetuated across 2 international borders.
On NBC's Meet the Press, Democrat Elijah Cummings, who takes over as chairman of the House Oversight Committee, blames President Trump for exacerbating matters.
We have a system that has worked for a long time. This president has come in, wants to change it. That's up to him. But now the Congress has got to stand up, and hopefully they will.
It's unclear whether Mexico's incoming government has agreed to allow the migrants to remain in that country until their applications for asylum can be processed by U.S. courts. The other big story today, the weather. It is wreaking havoc with holiday travel plans. Hundreds of flights have been canceled.
We have widespread blizzard warnings that are in effect across much of the Midwest, from northeast Kansas, southeast Nebraska, across southern Iowa, northern Missouri, and northern Illinois.
Dan Peterson with the National Weather Service. Slick roads and blowing snow causing numerous accidents. Parts of Interstate 80 shut down in Nebraska after several semis jackknifed. Heading to prison tomorrow, former Trump campaign foreign policy advisor George Papadopoulos. He pleaded guilty to lying to federal agents about his contacts with Russians during the 2016 campaign. This is Fox News.
Knowing that we have choices in medical providers locally and outside of Guam is important and reassuring. This is the reason why Calvo Select Care provides quality health care options to its members. From a wide array of local, primary, and specialty doctors and clinics to a comprehensive hospital network on island and outside of Guam, you can trust Calvo Select Care to be there for you. Federal employees and annuitants enroll today. Call 477-9808 for more information.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local inspired breakfast. AM loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
And recapping our top story, the U.S. Border Patrol firing tear gas as some migrants tried to make it across a border fence. The San Ysidro port of entry no longer allowing anyone in. And hurricane season about to end now. Looking back, it was pretty devastating.
The Atlantic season runs from June 1st to this Friday, November 30th, and some of the storms we've seen this season caused death and so much destruction. In September, Hurricane Florence, a Category 4, the first major storm of the year, hitting North Carolina hard, South Carolina and Virginia too, with an astounding $45 billion price tag. Hurricane Michael hit the Florida Panhandle in October as a Category 4, making landfall near Mexico Beach, the first Cat 4 on record to make landfall in the Florida Panhandle. Hurricane Olivia dumping more than 50 inches of rain last month on Hawaii, and of all things, a tropical depression this past Tuesday, Rosa, hit Arizona, the wettest day ever in Phoenix with more than 2.3 inches of rain. Leslie Lotto, Fox News.
A groundbreaking mission to Mars, emphasis on the ground breaking.
NASA's about to go somewhere it hasn't been for 6 years. On Monday afternoon at about 3 p.m. Eastern, the space agency says their probe will touch down on the surface of Mars. The InSight lander is designed to go where no Mars probe has gone before, underground. InSight stands for Interior Exploration using seismic investigations, geodesy, and heat transport. It'll bore beneath the surface of the fourth planet from the sun to get a look at what's down there while listening for Mars quakes. The probe will then transmit these findings to two tiny satellites called CubeSats up above. They'll relay that info back home to Earth. Karen McHugh, Fox News.
And thousands are getting refunds of $19.95 after technical difficulties kept them from watching the big Phil Mickelson-Tiger Woods match play. I'm Jay Metzler. This is Fox News.
Are high power bills sending your budget into chaos? Take control with the help of Micronesia Renewable Energy. Using the highest quality panels, a solar energy system from MRE will guarantee to save you money on power. With MRE, Christmas comes early. With every solar energy system, homeowners not only get $400 for signing up, but also an entry for a chance to win $1,000 in cold, hard cash, just in time for Christmas. It pays to be an MRE customer. Conditions apply. Call 632-2613 for details. MRE, the smarter choice.
Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dededo, 633-4473, Hagåtña, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
The season of giving is here, and the stations of Choice Broadcasting want to give back. 93.3 The Point, Boss 104, Star 101, and Lux Guam present Charity of Choice. Each of our radio personalities have chosen a Guam charity that they would like to benefit.
And I chose Habitat for Humanity. Tune in daily to see how you can help.
Charity of Choice 2018 is brought to you by Choice Broadcasting Company, Lux Guam, American Water Tech, and the station that gives from the heart, 93.3 The Point.
Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors. Our signature fajitas are served with sliced bell peppers, caramelized onions, topped with chipotle garlic butter, and chopped cilantro. Build your fajita with over 16 ounces of tender grilled chicken, juicy steak, and a dozen pieces of seasoned grilled shrimp in the family fajita trio. All served with warm flour tortillas and fresh toppings like mixed cheese, guacamole, salsa, and pico de gallo. Experience bold, sizzling fajita flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here.
Super Typhoon U2 has become one of the strongest storms on record to date. APL recognizes the damage that U2 has left behind and sees an opportunity to help our neighboring brothers and sisters in the CNMI. We humbly ask for the community's assistance in providing donations and supplies to our fellow islanders. All supplies can be dropped off to our APL office or coordinated for pickup and loading. Call 588-4651 for more details and to learn how you can help today.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 7 a.m. this Monday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The GovGuam's aging emergency 911 dispatch system has been unable to record incoming calls for nearly 3 years. Management of the system is the responsibility of the Guam Fire Department. And Emergency Medical Dispatch Supervisor Cherika Chargaloff, who oversees the operations of the system, wrote a letter in August to the Guam Attorney General advising that there are no audio recordings of E911 calls due to the fact that the recorder device has been inoperable since February 2016. Chargaloff was responding to a request from the AG for a copy of the audio recording of an E911 call made in a child rape case. Senator Talina Nelson, who chairs the Committee on Public Safety, said she was very disappointed that she was never informed despite multiple discussions with agency heads. She said it's unacceptable that the system's failings and the lack of funds to repair it are now having an impact in an ongoing criminal case. In response, GFD spokesman Kevin Riley acknowledging there have been intermittent downtimes since 2016, and he confirmed that the E911 recording system is currently inoperable. He said it has not been repaired because of the unavailability of replacement parts. However, an RFP has now been issued for the purchase of a next-generation E911 system. Although millions of dollars have been transferred out of the enhanced 911 emergency reporting system fund in the past, Riley said that it is replenished each month by the surcharge assessed to telephone customers. He could not say exactly how much is in the fund now, but expressed confidence that there is sufficient funding now to pay for a new system. She's not presumptive anymore. It's official now. Lulian Guerrero is the governor-elect of Guam. The Guam Election Commission finally certifying the general election results Friday, following a recount of the outstanding or a count of the outstanding provisional and absentee ballots. After the official declaration on Friday afternoon, Leon Guerrero issued a statement saying she is elated the election season is now over and humbled by the confidence shown by the people of Guam. After the final results were certified, Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio issued a concession statement on Friday afternoon as well, thanking supporters and congratulating all those elected into office. Tenorio and his running mate Tony Atta also said they sincerely rally behind Lou and Josh and wish them the very best. With the election now officially over, Leon Guerrero said her focus will be on ensuring a smooth transition. We'll have more news after this.
We're surrounded by sound. There are sounds that you need to hear. There are sounds that you want to hear. And there are sounds that you long to hear.
I love you.
Hear it all, louder and clearer than ever before. If you or someone you know has a hard time hearing, Guam Hearing Doctors can help, using state-of-the-art test gear to evaluate your hearing and coming up with a plan to make your life better by making your hearing better. Call Guam Hearing Doctors for an appointment or visit them on the web at guamhearingdoctors.com.
News time here at The Point is 12 minutes past 7 a.m. The U.S. Immigration Service has filed a response in opposition to the Guam Contractor Association's call for a contempt finding against the Immigration Service. In his response filed Friday in Guam District Court, Assistant U.S. Attorney Glenn Girdhary said the request for contempt and sanctions is meritless and inappropriate. Contractors Association attorney Jeff Joseph filed the contempt request earlier this month over what he said was the Immigration Service's continued willful denial of H-2B petitions from island businesses seeking to hire skilled foreign workers for non-military related projects. Immigration has been granting H-2B visas since April for military-related construction work, as they're required to do under the National Defense Authorization Act. In his opposition to the contempt motion, Girdhary argued that USCIS has fully complied with the court's injunction issued last February in the case. 24 bills and a veto override on the agenda for the November legislative session, scheduled to get underway Wednesday. Senator Tom Atta is seeking to override Governor Eddie Calvo's veto of his Bill 28. Bill 28 is seeking to improve Guam's protest plague procurement process. The governor rejected the bill last month, saying both the AG and GSA have opposed the measure during last week's Rules Committee hearing, which set the agenda for the session. Senator Tom Atta noted it would be unlikely that senators could get through all 24 bills, so each senator who had a bill on the agenda was asked to pick their top choices. Among those priority measures selected were Senator Nelson's bills to require peace officers to meet certain physical fitness requirements, and another to establish the Guam Landlord and Tenant Rental Act. Senator Terlahi has a bill on the agenda that would expedite the distribution of Guam World War II claims to survivors of the occupation, and Senator Atta's bill to authorize the Chamorro Land Trust Commission to enter into a 50-year lease for the Guam Raceway Park. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now with a look at weather.
Partly cloudy and isolated showers today. Winds out of the east up to about 20 miles an hour, decreasing to tonight. Highs around 89 degrees, and overnight low should be about 76 degrees. Sunrise this morning came in at 6:25, about the same tomorrow. Sunset tonight at 5:50. Weird, early at 5:50, because you're just messing around watching television, and you look outside and it's dark already, and you're thinking it's 9 o'clock at night, and you look at your watch and you say, no, it's not even 6:30 yet.
Yeah.
So mess with your head, that kind of thing. 888-8255 is the telephone number, and I just wanted to put up the picture of the radar so you can see what's happening right now outside and give me a prediction on what things are going to be like for the rest of the morning show.
Yeah, it looks like the last pushes of this bit of moisture that came through starting yesterday evening, that's starting to move in from the east. And what I'm seeing here, but may not necessarily be what it is, but a bit of a shear line. Looks like it's helping push it on along, and we got high pressure building in back behind this disturbance. It's moving on out, and the air is going to dry out in the middle levels, and that means it'll dry out a little bit at the lower levels as well. Once this last little line pushes through late this morning and early this afternoon, should be looking very nice. Good sunsets for the next couple of days. Talking about another very weak disturbance coming through towards midweek, and maybe bringing up the showers just a bit. But that's going from back to dry and then back to a few showers. So it should be actually a pretty nice
All right, a little bit of back and forth here on the weather, but it's that time of year. It's Guam. In fact, you can always say that around here. It's this time of year, and if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. It'll change into something else. A quarter after 7 o'clock in the morning. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
Docomo Pacific is making the Better Together bundle even better. 2 great services plus more. Get unlimited local calls, SMS, and 20 gigs of data, plus unlimited home internet for $109 a month. Sign up today and get free installation and choose between a free Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, or $100 off select devices. Mobile plus online from Docomo Pacific. Better together. Some conditions apply. See store for details.
It's the crazy holiday menu at King's right now, and you're going to find some amazing dishes with some of your favorite flavors attached to them. And sometimes, you just want to go to King's and just, can I get a snack? Do you have apps? Something I can just chew on for a little bit while I decide. Shrimp patties. They got mahi-mahi bites. I love the sound of that. Taco chicken wings, which is chicken wings made with a blend of taco seasoning. Chorizo nachos. What? And try this, longaniza fries, a mound of crispy fries smothered with cheese and Monterey Jack, tomatoes, red onions, jalapenos, and longaniza sausage bites drizzled with chipotle sauce. What are we still doing here? That's anytime at King's.
Attention federal employees and annuitants. Open enrollment begins on November 12th through December 10th for federal employees' health insurance plans. With rates 19% lower than last year for Take Care's non-postal high option and access to PICA's Best Clinic FHP Health Center, Take Care's supplemental wellness package provides cash incentives and allows members access to 19 fitness partners, including the largest fully functioning fitness center in Hagåtña and Dededo. To learn more, call Take Care at 646-6956. Take Care. Our island, your health plan.
717 portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by Ed Untalan personally. All right, that's not actually true. It's brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank, where Ed works. It all starts with yes. Also brought to you by American President Lines. They're shipping the future. Micronesia Renewable Energy. Never been a better time to go solar. American WaterTech, smarter water, better water, and Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your open heart surgery needs.
What are the benefits of switching to the handset payment option with GTA? For starters, you can customize a plan that matches your budget and lowers your monthly payment. HPO lets you upgrade to the latest phones whenever you want. No more waiting for a contract to end to get that slimmer, faster smartphone. Because with HPO, there are no contracts. HPO lets you design a phone plan that suits you. So join the thousands who've already switched to HPO, the most customizable phone plan on island. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Derek Mendel, you just ran a 2-hour and 38-minute marathon in Osaka. Congratulations. And now that you're not training and dieting anymore for a marathon, may I suggest the Cold Stone Creamery's new sea salt caramel pie scream cake. It's a whole thing that they're doing there where we've got ice cream and cake in a pie crust. It's innovative, a culinary innovation that you wouldn't believe and never find anywhere else. Fresh sea salt caramel ice cream and then moist yellow cake, all in a graham cracker pie crust. The word you're looking for is scrumptious. The other word you're looking for is Cold Stone Creamery.
The Ray Gibson Show. News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. Turn it up. Now tell a friend.
What is it? Monday here. What is this Monday-ness going on here? All of a sudden, in my unbelievably high-tech digital up-the-wazoo studio, you can't get the headphones to work.
How many years of radio experience does it take to make a set of headphones work?
Well, I don't know.
Evidently about 200, because that's how many we got in here.
Yeah, I'm kind of wanting to jump over the other side. What did you do to those? You're the only one. You and Blake are the only guys that use those headphones. You know that, right?
Well, then Blake's the problem.
Then it's Blake.
That's obvious then.
Actually, those are my headphones, and they're really cheap. That's probably the problem.
Hey, that could be it. You know, I spend up for everything else in here, but the headphones, frankly, were almost an afterthought. Good. Would you look at West Texas crude today? $50.42 for West Texas crude. Where was that? Where was that? Just the other day, it was $53.85 the last time I looked at that number. And let me just scooch down.
Simon says
that number.
Rates go down.
You know what? Maybe if it keeps moving in that direction, they were already talking about
actually they
leaving it as it was.
Yeah,
they wanted to leave it where it was. But Simon said he'd actually like to see that if there's a possibility that they can roll them back.
That'd be nice.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
we'd like that.
I mean, he can make the recommendation to the CCU. The CCU then determines whether it can be done or should be done or not. And then we take that over to the guy who's over at the Public Utilities Commission, and they can bless it. Frankly, the guys over at the Utilities Commission can probably do it on their own.
Yes, sir.
You know, just go, yeah, we looked at the numbers, and we think you need to look closer because it's possible they could be going backwards again. Last Friday, we looked at the numbers, and in West Texas crude trading at $53.85. Today, $50.42 for a barrel of West Texas. If you're looking at Tapas was at $65.57, and we'd already seen a decline in the price of gasoline last week. Could it happen again? Tapas continues to move down, $64.42 for a barrel of Tapas crude. So yeah, there's the possibility that kind of thing could happen. Keep your fingers crossed and pray to the gods of gasoline that maybe there could be another retreat in the price of gasoline at the pump. We'll see what happens. Take a look at where the markets ended up Saturday morning, our Saturday morning. The S&P 500 red by about 17 points to close at 2,632. NASDAQ at 6938. They're up by 33 points. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average, wow, 24,285. They lost 178 trading points. And take a look at, and you know, I'm fond of saying they're small bites, backwards for the Dow. But you know, looking at the benchmark number, how much longer before we're under 24,000? Right now, 24,285. At the beginning of the month, I want to say they were just nibbling at 26,000. So there's been some big percentage swings downward for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Some of the other commodities we like to take a look at, like I said, oil at 50.42, natural gas, nobody cares about that number. Gold at $1,223, and silver trading for $14.24. So that's what happened in the market. And is there any big business news that I need to take care of? What am I ignoring here in the business community? KFC. Congratulations to KFC. They've opened up the Barragata branch of Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I'm absolutely delighted because that is literally about a quarter of a mile away from where the house is. Oh, good. And that means that I can go there for breakfast or I can go there for lunch. And I went there last week because I wanted to find out if they changed out the not the silverware, but they've got a dish set, and every week they're supposed to have a different dish to give away with the 12-piece meal. So I went, and they're still on the platter, so I'm waiting until they come up with some of the other things.
What I want to know is, and maybe somebody from, let me see, Shell, IP&E, can call in and say, what did they do with all those seats and things that were in the that old rock and roll place?
With the old Burger King. They had kind of a motif.
Like a 50s rock and roll thing. Yeah. What did they do with all that
I don't know what they did with that stuff.
Wouldn't that be fun to get a hold of some of those things?
They were pretty. They were nice chairs.
It was nice stuff, right?
Yeah, I thought that I always enjoyed going in there when it was a Burger King, and I remember it sitting down for a long time. And mostly it was a place for the employees over at the Shell to go and fill out timesheets or do reports and things like that. Actually, I don't think you can get from the Shell now to KFC. Because I tried. I went into the Shell side because I wanted to get some gas and other boy supplies, and the doorway is now closed. And so I could not go from the Shell to the KFC, and I was wondering whether that was a temporary thing or whether that's going to end up being permanent.
You'd think they'd have a doorway. You can just kind of slide between
You'd
the two
think
places.
there'd be a doorway between the little beer cave and the KFC kitchen so that you can order a drive-thru and get a growler at the same time. 7:24 in the morning, and you hear the very friendly and familiar voice of Jerry Roberts here to do his in real life and in studio live before our very microphones. Extra Point.
If you're considered to be a leader in your field, or what they call a subject matter expert, a person with knowledge in a specific area, then you've likely suffered from a condition that affects most people in that position. I'm Jerry Roberts, who will go for the diagnosis today on the Extra Point. I consult with companies on how to build teams, develop talent, handle problems with workers, build sales and customer relationships. Yet, I lost a company once. No matter how much I knew, I couldn't prevent it. So what right do I have to tell anybody else how to do any of those things that I mentioned? I've had the privilege to work with leaders in the private sector as well as military and government. Some ran large departments or organizations with hundreds of workers and multi-million-dollar budgets. I've never had a budget like that, nor did I ever run a company that big. Why would they ever think I had anything of value to offer them? Maybe more important, why would I ever think I had anything of value to offer them? The affliction I referred to is common with many people in my business of training and consulting and anybody else who is viewed as an authority figure of any kind. It's called the imposter syndrome. It's when you think you're not good enough, not experienced enough, not at someone else's level. You don't have what it takes. You don't belong there. It can paralyze you, stop you in your tracks, put up a roadblock to any success you've told yourself you wanted, all because you feel you don't measure up to somebody else's resume. I've trained CEOs, and when that first happened, I felt a little weird, knowing that many of them had more experience and had achieved far more success than I ever had. What could I give them that was a good exchange for their valuable time? So, was I an imposter? The thought lingered until one of them came up to me on a break and said, I wasn't going to come today because I didn't think I'd get anything out of it. Honestly, everything you've said I've heard before. But I'm glad I came because of two reasons. One, you've said some things differently than I've ever heard them discussed, and that's caused me to rethink some positions. And two, even though I've heard it all, I strongly believe that leaders need to be reminded of what they know. We tend to forget. That day, I realized that for some people, I'm a trainer, and for others, I'm a reminder. And I'm fine with that. Every time I encounter a new situation where I think my experience or talent doesn't match up to the task at hand, I try to remember those words. Here's the truth. You're likely not the #1 global industry expert in your field. No sweat. There can only be one of those. That's not what people expect of you. They just want to know what you know and how that can benefit them. You're not an imposter. For some, you'll be an expert, and for others, you'll be that reminder. In any case, you know what you know. You're good enough. Now do your job. That's the Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3 in the Ray Gibson Show, I'm Jerry Roberts.
You know, I had that same feeling, buddy. Had that same feeling. It's I've was given on Friday. I interviewed Jennifer Seni, and she gave me a book by Jim Maxwell, and it sat on the desk for a little bit, and then it sat on the coffee table for a little bit, and I finally broke down and started reading it Saturday afternoon, and I'm looking at the thing going, gee, another management book, another book on leadership, and I went into kind of with that attitude, like, what am I going to learn here? And from page one, there were some new and different ways to look at leadership. And new and different views that I might be able to take and put to work here. So it doesn't matter what you know. Somewhere out there is a different way, a different perspective, and it's important that you get a chance to take a look at those. So go ahead, buy that new book on management and leadership. You'll enjoy it. 7:28 in the morning. That's Jerry Roberts and today's Extra Point. We'll be right back with Kevin Kerrigan and headlines next.
Bring joy to your world and your budget with a holiday loan from First Hawaiian Bank. At a low 4.99% APR, fixed for 1 year, it's a smart way to add ho, ho, ho without budget uh-oh. To apply for a holiday loan, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or FHB.com. For more information, call 1-877-640-2337. Additional restrictions apply. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Beneventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumama. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
We have some interesting questions on Facebook Live here this morning. Richard's asking a lot, like this one here, about the 911 system. If E911 audio was down or intermittently working as colored by GFD managers, then are they legally liable? They should be fired for their incompetence. Where's the AG on this? I don't know. I was thinking about the same thing. I'm wondering if that's something that maybe the Attorney General needs to chime in on, seeing as how the information that comes from some of these 911 calls absolutely vital when it comes down to being able to set the stage on certain criminal activities and investigations. Jennifer Badar, Vetabana is Ron and Cindy De La Rosa. Vince Duenas online with me this morning. Brad Hewitt saying Gita should use Chief Cruz's PhD survey money for help with the E911 system. That's another big story that's floating around here. When does this survey? When is it going to go away? $56,000 worth of dough that they want to send for this survey. They want to ask 20,000 people a bunch of questions. You know, you could probably do it for almost nothing on the internet. You can go to Google and have them put together a form on their docs, and then you take that form. I've done this, and you put it on Facebook. And then you can get all kinds of answers that you're going to go, well, not everybody's on Facebook. Okay, we'll put the link on Twitter. Well, not everybody's on Twitter. What about the younger people? All right, fine. We'll stick it on Instagram and all these other websites and have people actually go in and do it. You know, there's a big article that talks about just the way they're setting it up, and it doesn't sound like there's any real rhyme or reason to how they're going to set this thing up. So I'm wondering if maybe they can find a way to save the taxpayers $56,000 and use that money for something a little bit more important than this survey. And I've seen the questions. I don't think there's a whole lot that we're going to be getting out of it that's going to change the way policing is done. Feel free to disagree if you like. 7:31 in the morning. We'll take a look at traffic in a couple of minutes. Doesn't look like there's anything crazy right now. Headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, the former project coordinator for Guam Resource Recovery Partners says Wagner Gurgis may be removed as president of the company now that he has been convicted of tax fraud. David Sablan telling the Guam Daily Post that GRRP is a partnership and there are other people involved. He said it may be highly probable at this point that Gurgis would be removed from the partnership. Sablon said he has not had a formal business relationship with Girgis in more than 6 years. However, he said others in GRRP have been discussing Girgis's position, and they've kept him informed. Last Tuesday, a federal jury in Honolulu found Girgis guilty of tax evasion and witness tampering. Back in 1996, GovGuam granted GRRP an exclusive license to build a facility in Guatale that burns garbage to produce electricity. Despite Girgis's conviction and possible ouster, Sablon said he remains a strong supporter of that waste-to-energy project, saying the project is too important of an issue to keep Girgis involved in light of his conviction. A recount Friday of the votes for the 15th and 16th place finishers in the senatorial contest confirmed the general election results. Jose Terlahi made the cut and is the 15th senator-elect with 11,930 votes. The recount was required because of the narrow difference between Terlahi and the 16th place finisher, Celestine Babauta, who ended up with 72 votes behind Terlahi. The Friday recount by the Guam Election Commission narrowed that difference to just 54 votes, but not enough for Babauta to take the lead. The Democrats will have a supermajority in the 35th Guam legislature when it's sworn in January. The Igana Public Swimming Pool is closed again until further notice. John Kramer, the Recreation Administrator at the Department of Parks and Recreation, confirmed that the pool has been shut down because of a leak. The exact location of the leak, not known. He said they need to figure that out before they reopen. The media was not informed of the closure, but a notice was posted on the front gate last Tuesday advising that the pool would be closed until further notice. However, some pool users say the pool has had a reoccurring leak for years and suggested the real reason for the closure was Parks and Rec's failure to pay its water bill. GWA spokeswoman Heidi Ballendorf declined to comment on that question. The Igana Public Pool was shut down in March in what the governor then said was a cost-cutting move in the face of a budget crisis. In May, the pool was shut down once again after swimmers complained of an outbreak of green algae in the pool. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Do you have a copy of that survey, the GPD survey?
I'll look for it.
I'm looking in my pile now. I'm trying to see if I've got it because I remember.
It's got over 100 questions.
Yeah, well, and a couple of odd ones. Asking about sexual orientation and whether you go to church or not. And I'm trying to figure out how that's going to help them out with doing community policing. Maybe more police in the churches. Maybe that's what it is. 7:35 in the morning, and portions of the program here, including this one, brought to you by iConnect, giving away a vacation for two to Manila with a stay at the new Holiday Inn Express in their Connect and Win giveaway. Sign up for a 12-month plan, and you're automatically entered. 'Tis the season. I said 'tis the season. This is Jingle Bells. Sorry, Rudolph. 'Tis the season for winning with iConnect. Go to iConnectGuam.com for details.
There's a reason every day a Guam homeowner is getting a solar system installed by Micronesia Renewable Energy. It's because MRE is the most trusted name in solar. With more solar energy solutions than any other solar company on island, homeowners have a choice to go solar for zero money down or take the path to ownership. Whichever way, it keeps our skies blue and your pockets green. And with the most experienced solar technicians and an energy production guarantee, there are no worries. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
Yeah, traffic beginning to build up here at 7:36 in the morning. A little bit of traffic on Route 3 headed towards Marine Corps Drive, and then from that intersection up to the which one is that? Fatima Mobile intersection. You might see a little bit of traffic beginning to build up through there. Southbound Marine Corps Drive, not looking so bad. A little bit build just before you get to Waisangsong. 8, 10, and 16 so far pretty clear from Route 16 into the intersection. Once you get past that, you'll see traffic slowing down just until you get into that one good intersection over at Teedson. You see the one intersection that gets you into Teedson, and then it'll open up pretty clear all the way into the downtown Hagåtña area. A little bit of traffic lined up southbound just after you pass the governor's office, but that clears up in plenty of time for you to get down to Big Navy. Nothing in front of Navy Hospital, nothing in front of Anderson Air Force Base. Still smooth sailing right now. Traffic here on The Point.
Hapa Day, I'm Rod Boss. As the new president and CEO of Docomo Pacific, I want to personally thank you for voting us Pika's best mobile, internet, and cable service provider for 3 years in a row. For friends and families serving in the armed forces, you voted us Best of the Pacific again this year. Thanks.
Ask your friends and family to come over and give our mobile network a try, and we'll give them 3 months free. We have select devices up to 50% off. Sign up today. You plus Docomo Pacific. Better together.
I hear that, buddy. 7:37 in the morning, 888-8255. That's 888-TALK here at 93.3 The Point. You can also WhatsApp me at 988-5874. That's 988-5874. And before longer, I'll jump to the WhatsApp link. The most recent thing I got was from the governor's office. It's Monday, and he's got his official governor's address that is out for the weekend. I might be able to scare that up and play it for you. I don't know if I got to check the script and see if there's any additional money that he's going to be spending before he leaves office. 22 away from the top of the hour. It's surveys, baby, surveys. That's the topic that I've got in my head this morning. Dr. Ron McNitch from the University of Guam. Good morning, Doc. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Ray. Hapa Day, Guam.
Hapa Day, and hope you had a good weekend. You know what? Just a note here between us old buddies. May I start saying Merry Christmas to you, my friend?
Oh, thank you. Merry Christmas.
It's after Thanksgiving, and in my mind, that is the traditional beginning of the Christmas Christmas part of the holiday season. People putting up their Christmas decorations. My neighbor's got his up, his tree is up, and them and the families loaded for bear for the Christmas season. So I think now is a good time to start saying Merry Christmas wherever you go.
All right.
There you go. Now, on the subject of surveys, looks like $56,000 for a survey of about 20,000 people that the chief of police wants to do. And I'm just thinking that's a lot of money to spend after a survey that I guess is going to be doing some deep data mining. What are your thoughts? You're a researcher.
Yeah, it's not all that much money. I mean, regularly, if you look at, and it's easy to check the number. If you look at any number of federal grants that support this kind of research, that's probably, given particularly the sample size that they're going after, it's fairly modest. I don't think it's that big of a deal in terms of the amount of money.
Have you seen the survey itself?
Yep, sure.
And do you agree with some of the questions, or are you finding that those would be in line with a community policing research to back up some future plans?
Sure. We've done surveys very, very similar to this in the past.
Do you need to get 20,000 responses on a survey like this? I mean, you've conducted accurate polling for gubernatorial, legislative races, et cetera, with far smaller sample sizes.
Sure. Usually for Guam, for this kind of survey, you can probably get by with, depending on, it's like art. You know, and so some people like to paint a certain way or use a certain style. Some people like very large samples. For me, I'm probably 1,000. 2,000 would be a lot. But for our kinds of surveys we do, it'd be 1,000 to 2,000 at max. But the thing is, to be blunt, I don't have any problem with them going after 20,000. I think, in fact, it might be kind of fun to see, the kinds of results we get with 20,000.
Well, I would hope for 56,000 taxpayer dollars we'd get to see all of the results. I think we'd publish them, make it available for download.
Sure, but I guess what I mean is because we don't commonly see this large of a sample or researchers going after this large of a sample, it's kind of fun to see what kinds of dynamics will come out of this large of a sample. So I'm kind of interested in it from that standpoint.
And I would be interested in it as well. Like I said, I just think $56,000 feels like a whole lot of money for something like this. But what you're talking about some kind of enterprise class research that they're conducting.
Yeah, this is $56,000. It depends on who you get to do your polling for you. But $56,000 is actually.
Well, I thought that was an interesting question that they were trying to solve to resolve at the election. You recall the conversation was they wanted to have police officers out there at the polling sites conducting these surveys.
Sure, and I think that was simply a collection method or a way to try to go after the data. And there are all kinds of ways to go after it. Now, I did see some of the criticism some folks had. I guess they talked to one or two off-island people. In general, I would like to remind everyone, we have a university here right on Guam with people who study this stuff all the time. And on an island, research is a little bit different. And the way we do things methodologically is a little bit different. It's not the same as in the U.S. mainland. In the U.S. mainland, they have a thing I would generally term contiguousness. That is, there's a land mass where you can hop in a car and drive 50 miles and you're a whole new universe, basically. On our small island, we have a finite land and population space. And so the way we do polling and the kinds of dynamics that are related to polling are quite different than in the U.S. mainland. And so you have to be a little bit careful on trying to infer that things are just like they are in the U.S. mainland, because they really, really are not.
Well, the point is being made by Kevin Kerrigan that the survey is being conducted by an outfit in Fiji, which is also an island. So they might have actually pondered some of the similarities or the differences between mainland survey operations versus the way it should be done in an island atmosphere.
Sure, and I've met with Dr. Watson, the principal supporting investigator on this and everything. She's a very nice lady and very knowledgeable, really proactive from an island standpoint on how to make things work on islands and how to do research on islands. So she's a specialist. Dr. Underwood was promoting the term at one point, isseology, which is the study of islands. And I think that particular term is a nice term. I think that island studies are simply different than a lot of other, like, U.S. mainland continental types of studies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in terms of the survey work and the responses, as you point out, there are a bunch of different ways to do it rather than just, an intercept interview. Is this something that you could throw online for everybody to participate in? Is it something where you want to do telephone coincidentals, that kind of thing?
Sure. I'm a bit of a critic at this point of online, what I generally consider cattle call online polling. That is, anybody can participate at any time they want. I'm quite critical.
There are departments at the University of Guam that have been using that kind of survey methodology for years.
Sure, and there are people who go to a junkyard and think that they're in an antique shop. I mean, it's an art thing, and that is, for me, for the kinds of studies that I do, which are used to support real policy and for real issues for real people, I don't rely on internet methods. And the reason I don't is they're just simply too unreliable at this point. Now,
Yeah, but I mean, if you're getting 20,000 responses, I mean, at some point, the unreliable responses would be outweighed by the number of positive and reliable responses, don't they?
Usually.
I mean, you're going to get junk responses no matter how you do it.
Well, what you do when you do an online survey is you're inviting basically what I would call a bot interference kind of methodological flaw. That is, if there are people out there all the time who develop these little computer programs to manipulate these kinds of surveys or manipulate these kinds of applications that support surveys. I think that in general, when we talk to people face-to-face or when we talk to people directly, you get better results. Now, I got to say, some of these off-island firms, because of the way they do random digit dialing, some people here have 2 or 3 or 4 telephones in their houses. Their kids will have a phone, they'll have a phone. There's different phones for different reasons. I've had people tell me over and over again their household is called 2 or 3 times on a general poll, and they answer it every time because they have a political interest to do so.
Sure.
And so I think that in general, these topic kinds of surveys have less of an emphasis or an incentive for people to do that. Now, you mentioned the question about sexual orientation.
No, that's in there. Church, how often you go to church, that kind of thing.
Sure. Those are all victimology related. So, for example, I've got to tell you, men are 3 times less likely to report that they've been sexually assaulted than women. And so you can have a sex offender who preys upon women, and you can have a sex offender that preys upon men. Those that prey upon men are 3 times less likely to get caught because men don't report much. also the LGBTQ community or the gay community in general, they're a specific victimology group, and they're preyed upon, and they become victims at different levels. Same thing with race or ethnicity. The way we look at victimology, which is the study of who becomes a victim of crime and how and things like that, those demographic variables are extremely important, and they're extremely important to track and ask. Same thing goes for the religion part. Everyone knows about the scandal that's went on with child sex abuse in certain religious organizations here. And that's one way you can correlate or track, those levels.
All right. So go ahead, fall in love with the survey. I guess the annoyance here is, and Brad's online says almost $17,000 going directly to that Fiji university. Match that up with the cost of a PhD and see if there's a coincidence. I don't know about that kind of research. We'll see how the rest of it goes. One other question I wanted, and I'm trying not to put the last nail in the coffin that was the 2018 general election here. 66.6% of the registered voters actually went out and cast a ballot, which means a whole lot of people stayed home. Why do you think they stayed home? The guys over at the Election Commission think that there might have been a little bit of a stink put on the election with all of the negative campaigning. But frankly, I didn't think that the negative campaigning that we saw here was much worse than any negative campaigning that I'd seen in any prior elections.
Yeah, I think part of it was the ugliness of the election a little bit. The other thing is we have a really optimistic expectation that we're going to have a whole bunch of people vote in these governor's races, and we usually do.
Mm-hmm.
We have more people vote, and I initially made an error because I looked at the wrong number. But in general, in the U.S. mainland, 42% or so vote in the annual presidential election, or some number close to that. So our 66% is actually pretty good
in comparison.
And I think that in general, part of it might be a generational gap where young people love social media and they love to talk about things, but they don't actually do anything. To the X generation or millennials, but they love to talk and they don't like to act. It could be part of that factor. When my daughter was growing up, from the time she was 3 or 4 years old, I would bring her into the voting booth with me. I'd let her mark the ballot, and so on election day, she woke me up at 7 o'clock wanting to go vote. How we socialize our young people to participate in the process is extremely important, and including them in as early as possible and making voting something that's fun and expected, just like the holidays. We love rituals on Guam because we don't have anything else to help us to mark time. It feels like the same day every day because of the weather. The weather, it doesn't tell us that times have changed. So holidays are very, very important to us. Voting days can take on the form of a holiday, and I think that we should try that. The other thing we should do is we should eliminate the primary and throw the primaries out the window, because in the off-year elections, we're only knocking out 2 or 3 vanity candidates on the Democrat or Republican side. Just put them all on the ballot. And then every 4 years for governors, let's just go to a runoff system, make it simple.
And cheaper.
And far cheaper.
Yeah.
Would save at least $400,000 every 4 years minimum on using that kind of method. And
so, we could, J.I. could do another 80 surveys.
Right, exactly. We're quibbling over $56,000, and yet we can't seem to solve a very simple, easy-to-address issue.
Well, I don't know. There's the other part of it is I think it's as much as they try to make it convenient for people to vote and give employees a couple of hours to go and vote and get the I voted sticker and all of that, I still think there were a lot of people that said, you know what, I got work to do today, and even though I can go and vote, I'm allowed to go and vote, I don't have time to vote because I'm working. And then it's going to be 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You pass by the polling place, and it's jam-packed with everybody that was that could not break away. And you just go, you know what? Let's go to dinner. And if it's still open when dinner's done, then maybe I'll go vote. And then you pass by and it's still crowded again. I think that kind of thing scares a lot of people away. I don't know that I would have a hard time suggesting that we move the election day to the nearest Saturday.
Well, we'd have to change the Organic Act for that kind of thing.
B.J. Cruz wants to change the Organic Act to provide for a more independent Office of Public Accountability.
Before we move the election date, I'd like to see us at least try a mail-in election like Oregon does.
Ooh.
In fact, Oregon's had great success with it. They have minimal voter fraud, and You don't have to close down schools. You don't have to disrupt everybody's lives. You can simply pick up your mail, mark your ballot, and mail it back in.
We'll see. I mean, those crazy radical changes to changes to the way we do things. Like district voting and electronic voting machines. Seems to me that we tread very carefully when we start talking about making changes there. 7:52. I'll see you pretty soon, Doc.
Talk radio and change.
Yep.
What a marriage.
Have a great day. Merry Christmas to you and the family. Currently 7:52 in the morning. Let me take a quick look at what's happening with the traffic. I don't have the music bed playing in the background. I could ask the producer to drop it in, but I can do the traffic report without it. The reason why I want to break in here and tell you about it is because I am looking at traffic that is going generally slow around Route 27A at that intersection near the new flea market. People having a hard time getting out of there. Also looking at traffic slow from Santos Hill into the Upper Tumont area. Should clear up by the time you get to our front steps here. It should be completely all done by the time you get past Kmart. And then we've got a little bit of traffic in front of the AB Wanpat International Airport. It's that outbound lane right in front. It's that last intersection before you get to the Home Depot. Did anybody make it to Home Depot over the weekend? The last thing I saw was a picture of Home Depot's parking lot at 5:30 on Black Friday morning, and frankly, I stayed away from as many of the shopping places as I possibly could over the weekend, just because I didn't want to. Number one, I didn't want to spend any money, and number two, I didn't want to get into the middle of something where I saw something I liked, I picked out something that I liked, and then I would walk over to the cash registers and then be 20 people deep into a line. I didn't even want to face the possibility that something like that was going to happen. So I didn't. I stayed away from all of that. I think the only place I did any shopping over the weekend was Hornet Sporting Goods. Because I wanted to pick up another pair of running shorts, right. And it was Hornet Sporting Goods and Payless. I think that was it as far as shopping was concerned.
Yeah,
and they you know what? They don't have any running shorts over at Payless.
No, they're sold out.
All right, yeah,
all the Koreans got them.
So that was the foray into any shopping that I got going, and I'm going to do the typical Ray Gibson thing. I think I'm going to save up all of my shopping until it gets to be, I don't know, about 11 o'clock on Christmas Eve.
Absolutely.
And then that's when you go to Kmart, bleary-eyed and reeking of alcohol and just panic buying for the rest of the night. Not that that's ever happened to me. Brad Hewitt says 13 hours to vote. If that's not enough time to handle responsibility and get the job done, too bad. Should probably not be voting to begin with. Yeah, that's kind of a hard view. There are a lot of people, I think, that I've got 13 hours to vote, and the polls open at 7 o'clock in the morning, but I'm already at my desk at 7 o'clock in the morning. There's a lot of people out there that are. And, you put family on top of school, on top of all the other obligations. And so after the 8 hours that you already spent at work, and then the back and forth that a lot of moms and dads have to do, I think maybe it's a question of keeping things open a little bit longer, open earlier, and find other venues, other ways in order to get that done. There, as he says, mail in the ballot. Why not do that?
Yeah, I can't speak of the other polling places. I know JFK. Boom, I was in and out in 10 minutes. And I only took that long because I wanted to religiously peruse the materials that I had in front of me.
Yeah.
If I had, had kind of gone in there with my photographic memory, knowing what I wanted, boom, I'd have been out in 5.
Yeah. Well, but there are, I think, a lot of people that might have passed by. And towards later in the evening, remember they had for that one and the primary, the sporting events that were taking place.
That's right.
At the same time. So it might have appeared like things were crowded up there. I had no problems getting into and out of my voting place that morning either. But the truth of the matter is, I was at my desk at 4:45. I was done with my day at noon. So I had all time to go out there and cast a vote, and then enough time to go sit down at Ray Tenorio's tent and eat 3 hot dogs and some butchie and some salad made with romaine lettuce or something like that. 756 888-8255. That's 888-TALK.
I just think it's funny because I know you did not vote for him.
What do you mean I did not vote? You're not. Number one, I've never said who I'm not going to vote.
Did not.
Who I did or did not vote for.
No, you did not vote for that man.
It's 7:56 in the morning. I'm going to tell everybody who you voted for. Right? I'm going to tell everybody who you wrote in. maybe I wrote myself in. Maybe I'm going to come out as one of those guys when they finally come up with the list. When it says Ray Gibson, I'll know I got at least one vote. I know I got at least one write-in vote because I did it my own self. Ed, where to for the rest of the hour? Well, not too many places that we're going to be going. Next hour, we're going to talk about, pretend to talk about football with Blake and Mike. And then after that, maybe a little bit of time with talking about Derek Mendel. A lot of great running over the weekend at the Gatorade 5K. That was a well put together event. Thank you very much, Coach Joe and everybody for doing that particular. Another PR for me. I was very delighted. 22 minutes and 59 seconds before I got to the finish line. And I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there. 22:59, all right? That's a personal PR for me in all of the years that I've been running. And then a buddy of mine comes up, says, hey, congratulations on that PR. You know the course was short, right? Shut up. Don't talk to me. Never speak to me again. Yeah, it was some people got a little bit less than 3.1 on their Garmin watches that day. But yeah, Derek Mendel with a 2 hour and 38-minute finish at the Osaka Marathon. Bunch of people I know that got on the airplane and went out to race in that particular one. I didn't even know Derek was training for it, but he's fast Olympian class runner here on Guam, and like I said, was able to close up 26.2 miles in just under 2 hours and 38 minutes. Just an outstanding effort from that guy. There might be some other sports that we get into, including what I consider to be a problem. Lynn Vince Borja Polino, I'd write you in, Ray. You have my vote. Yeah, there's still people come up to me. And remember what we did to kind of resurrect the brand here. I'd been off the air for a couple of years before I started doing this program, and by way of waking up the brand, we sort of feigned like I was running for office. So I was out there. We had some campaign posters made, and I was out there doing waves out in February, and a lot of people honking the horn and waving and say, "I'll vote for you. I don't need your vote. I just want you to listen." And Lynn, you and your sister and the rest of the band sounded absolutely terrific over at Roots on Saturday night. The Radiance performing there at Roots Hills. Is that the name of it? Up in new place up in Mighty, and they sounded good, and the food was good, and the drinks were cold, and it was absolutely perfect. Coming up in the next hour of the program, a lot of conversation about the 911 system and the apparent fact that there is no recording capability. So if you call in a 911 message and let's say that there's something to your phone call that could help bring you some kind of justice because the guy is the cops can hear the guy's voice or some other kind of audio evidence, there's no way to capture that. And I'd like to find out why and what it is that they're going to be doing to fix that particular issue. 988-5874, Brad Hokinson, is our WhatsApp number. If you've got something that you want to send me, I think that'd be absolutely cool. 888-8255 is the telephone number, 988-5874. The call sign of the radio station is KUSG. I got you. Coming up in seconds, Fox News Live.
Some migrants on the move, tear gas fired to keep them from crossing the border. I'm Jane Metzler, Fox News.
We will remain prepared for any contingency that might present itself.
Robert Perez, Deputy Commissioner of the Customs and Border Patrol, says the San Isidro border crossing is now closed to all traffic. With additional personnel deployed in San Diego, Perez calling the migrant caravan, now in Tijuana,
absolutely unique to anything that we had seen in the past.
U.S. troops backing up the Border Patrol, but they're prohibited by law from making any arrests and are not allowed to use their weapons.
At one point, there appeared to be a few hundred demonstrators in Mexico marching closer and closer to the border, getting right up to the fence that separates the two countries. The Associated Press is reporting tear gas was fired from the U.S. side at migrants after some tried to breach the fence separating the U.S. and Mexico, but it appears most of that group of the caravan has dispersed and moved along. Now, we should mention there have been demonstrations on both sides of the border today, both in the U.S. and in Mexico. Organizers saying this is supposed to be a very peaceful demonstration.
Fox's Jeff Paul, Mexico's president-elect, takes office December 1st. There are conflicting statements from his cabinet about whether he's agreed to let migrants stay in his country until their claims for U.S. asylum can be processed. 14 million Americans affected, blizzard warnings in effect. From Nebraska to Illinois with gusty winds and
snowfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour.
National Weather Service meteorologist Dan Peterson. Poor visibility and slick road conditions causing numerous accidents. A stretch of I-80 shut down between Omaha and Lincoln, Nebraska, after several semis jackknifed the Red Cross opening a shelter in Colorado. This is Fox News.
Calvo Select Care continues providing great benefits for federal employees and annuitants, a wide choice of medical providers on and off island, an expanded local network of urgent and emergency care providers, free access to our gym partners. Save on your purchases with our Calvo's Lifestyle Club partners. With all these great benefits, enrolling with Calvo Select Care is that much easier. Federal employees and annuitants enroll today. Call 477-9808 for more information.
Gym membership and Calvo's Lifestyle Club are non-FEHB benefits.
Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors. Our signature fajitas are served with sliced bell peppers, caramelized onions, topped with chipotle garlic butter, and chopped cilantro. Build your fajita with over 16 ounces of tender grilled chicken, juicy steak, and a dozen pieces of seasoned grilled shrimp in the family fajita trio. All served with warm flour tortillas and fresh toppings like mixed cheese, guacamole, salsa, and pico de gallo. Experience bold, sizzling fajita flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here.
Opinion.
Today, the Pentagon identifying an Army Ranger killed Saturday during a firefight with al-Qaeda militants in southwest Afghanistan. 25-year-old Sergeant Leandro Jasso was born in Washington State, had been stationed at Joint Base Lewis McChord there. This was his third deployment to Afghanistan. He was discharged from the Army back in August, had a legal permit to carry a gun. The family of E.J. Bradford Jr. has hired an attorney, wants to know why he was fatally shot by police at a mall in Alabama Thanksgiving night. A 12-year-old and an 18-year-old suffering non-life-threatening injuries when they were shot during some sort of altercation at that mall. Police initially said Bradford was the gunman, then said they were wrong about that. The young man's father both devastated and angry.
My son is gone. I can't get him back. But you vilified my son like he was a straight criminal on Facebook, national TV.
The gunman is still at large. From Black Friday to Small Business Saturday to what's become the biggest day for holiday shopping, Cyber Monday is tomorrow.
Cyber Monday 2018 expected to be the biggest online shopping day in history, generating nearly $8 billion in sales. And that would be an increase of more than 17% from last year, according to Adobe Analytics, which tracks online sales. Lots of retailers offering discounts and free shipping to lure shoppers. Cyber Monday has become the online equivalent to Black Friday and offers a way for smaller retailers to compete with the larger ones. Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
And if you donate to charity, Giving Tuesday is the day after tomorrow. Well, a holiday weekend tradition for many, going to the movies. A sequel topping the box office.
I love it here.
Who knew there's so many babies and cats?
Ralph breaks the internet, taking in $84.5 million. I'm Jane Metzler, Fox News.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
Papa Day, I'm Rod Boss. As the new president and CEO of Docomo Pacific, I want to personally thank you for voting us PICA's best mobile, internet, and cable service provider for 3 years in a row. For friends and families serving in the armed forces, you voted us Best of the Pacific again this year. Thanks.
Ask your friends and family to come over and give our mobile network a try, and we'll give them 3 months free. We have select devices up to 50% off. Sign up today. You plus Docomo Pacific. Better together.
The season of giving is here, and the stations of Choice Broadcasting want to give back. 93.3 The Point, Boss 104, Star 101, and Lux Guam present Charity of Choice. Each of our radio personalities have chosen a Guam charity that they would like to benefit.
And I chose Habitat for Humanity. Tune in daily to see how you can help.
Charity of Choice 2018 is brought to you by Choice Broadcasting Company, Lux Guam, American Water Tech, and the station that gives from the heart, 93.3 The Point.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Are high power bills sending your budget into chaos? Take control with the help of Micronesia Renewable Energy. Using the highest quality panels, a solar energy system from MRE will guarantee to save you money on power. With MRE, Christmas comes early. With every solar energy system, homeowners not only get $400 for signing up, but also an entry for a chance to win $1,000 in cold, hard cash, just in time for Christmas. It pays to be an MRE customer. Conditions apply. Call 632-2613 for details. MRE, the smarter choice.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 8 a.m. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The U.S. Immigration Service has filed a response in opposition to the Guam Contractor Association's call for a contempt finding against the Immigration Service. In a response filed Friday in Guam District Court, Assistant U.S. Attorney Glenn Geert-Harry said the motion for contempt and sanctions filed by the Guam contractors is meritless and inappropriate. The attorney for the Contractors Association, Jeff Joseph, filed the contempt motion earlier this month. Joseph accused the Immigration Service of continued willful denial of H-2B petitions from island businesses seeking permission to hire skilled foreign workers for non-military related projects. Immigration has been granting H-2B visas since April for military related projects, as they're required to do under the National Defense Authorization Act. In his opposition to the request for contempt, Geert-Harry argued that USCIS has fully complied with Guam District Court judge's permanent injunction issued last February, requiring immigration to stop the blanket denials of H-2B visa requests. The government of Guam's aging emergency 911 dispatch system has been unable to record incoming calls for nearly 3 years. Management of the system is the responsibility of the Guam Fire Department, and Emergency Medical Dispatch Supervisor Cherika Chargaloff, who oversees the operations of the system, wrote a letter in August to the Guam Attorney General advising that there are no audio recordings of E911 calls due to the fact that the recorder device has been inoperable since February 2016. Chargaloff was responding to a request from the Attorney General for a copy of the audio recording of an E911 call made in a child rape case. Senator Talina Nelson, who chairs the Committee on Public Safety, said she was very disappointed that she was never informed. Despite multiple discussions with agency heads, she said it's unacceptable that the system's failings and the lack of funds to repair it are now having an impact in an ongoing criminal case. In response, GFD spokesman Kevin Riley acknowledged that there have been intermittent downtime since 2016, and now the E911 recording system is currently inoperable. He said it has not been repaired because of the unavailability of replacement parts. However, an RFP has now been issued for the purchase of a next-generation E911 system. Although millions of dollars have been transferred out of the enhanced 911 fund in the past, Riley said that it is replenished each month by the surcharge assessed to telephone customers on island. He couldn't say exactly how much is in the fund now, but expressed confidence there is enough money to pay for a new system. We'll have more news after this.
The problem isn't just not being able to hear or understand, or having to tell people to speak louder. Sometimes the frustration is having to repeat yourself too many times or speaking so loud you're almost shouting. At Guam Hearing Doctors, we understand that hearing problems affect both sides. One of our goals is to help your hearing for those around you. Call us at 989-TEST to learn more.
12 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. She's not presumptive anymore. It's official now, and there won't be a runoff. Lou Leon Guerrero is the governor-elect of Guam. The Guam Election Commission finally certifying the election results on Friday following a count of the outstanding provisional and absentee ballots. Following the official declaration, Leon Guerrero issued a statement saying she is elated that the election season is now over and humbled by the confidence shown by the people of Guam. After the final results were certified, Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio issued a concession statement Friday afternoon, thanking supporters and congratulating all those elected to office. Tenorio and his running mate, Tony Atta, also said they sincerely rally behind Lou and Josh and wish them the very best. With the election now officially over, Leon Guerrero said her focus now will be on ensuring a smooth transition. Also, a recount on Friday of the votes for the 15th and 16th place finishers in the senatorial contests confirmed the general election results. Jose Terlaje made the cut, and he is the 15th senator-elect with 11,930 votes. The recount was required because of the narrow difference between Terlaje and the 16th place finisher, Celestine Babauta, who ended up 72 votes behind Terlaje in the general election. The Friday recount by the Guam Election Commission narrowed that difference to just 54 votes, but still not enough for Babauta to take the lead. The Democrats will have a supermajority in the 35th Guam legislature when it is sworn in January. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray and Mike now take a look at weather.
Sunset tonight, 5:50. Sunrise tomorrow morning about 6:25. Today we'll get partly cloudy skies and isolated showers. Winds out of the east up to 20 miles an hour today, decreasing, and highs about 89 degrees overnight, low 76. No heat index today, huh, Mike?
Not today. No. And the reason for that is, if we look at the radar, the more and more I look at this radar as it shapes up this morning, the more it looks to me just exactly like what it is. A shear line is dropping down and kind of washing out over us. If you remember on Thursday, we had those thunderstorms, and I told you that might happen because we had a lingering shear line. As that moisture from Manyi hit it, it really fired up thunderstorms, and then that kind of trailed off. We had this trail of moisture as Manyi pulled away, and then we got another little dose of moisture yesterday as the shear line started dropping back down towards us, and a little moisture moved across it. Now the moisture's moving away. It looks like the shear line's pushing on through as well and washing out overhead. The winds will pick up a little bit. We should have some nice dry winds. The mid-levels of the atmosphere are drying out, and so that means much fewer showers for us over the next couple of days. Then by midweek, another very weak disturbance will come in from the east and bring back a chance of rain.
All right, and as you put the satellite imagery up there so you can take a look at that, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of activity outside or north of that shear line that's moving through.
No,
here.
and the one thing that really kind of tells me that I'm right about this is because if you look into in that box that we're in, you can see the light pinks in that satellite picture, and that's indicative of very dry air that's moved in. So, yeah, it looks like things are going to dry out real nice. Tomorrow morning actually should be a really, really nice morning.
All right, talcum powder for those of you that can't handle the additional moisture. 8:15 in the morning, that's news and weather together here on The Point.
Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dededo, 633-4473, Hagåtña, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
Portions of the program brought to you by my pals over at King's Restaurant. They're nuts for the holiday. In fact, they're crazy for the holiday. They've got the crazy holiday menu out, and you can tell that they're crazy because they're spelling crazy with a K, that's always a sign that there's madcap zaniness going on somewhere. So check out the zaniness that they've got on the apps and the snacks and the lunches. Open-faced turkey sandwich, $10.99. Chicken ranch BLT. Man, I love a good BLT. And real iceberg lettuce on this, because nobody's doing romaine lettuce anymore, because apparently that'll kill you. Spam sandwich for $7.99. That's nice. Steak fried beef steak. No, breaded fried steak sandwich. Cut and pica sandwich. Ooh, that sounds good. And plain old turkey sandwiches. Find those for breakfast, lunch, or dinner at King's.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show also brought to you by Security Title. When you absolutely need confidentiality in your real estate transactions, also find the people at American President Lines. They're shipping the future. American Water Tech, smarter water, better water, Micronesia renewable energy. There's never been a better time to go solar. And Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your open heart surgery needs.
What are the benefits of switching to the handset payment option with GTA? For starters, you can customize a plan that matches your budget and lowers your monthly payment. HPO lets you upgrade to the latest phones whenever you want. No more waiting for a contract to end to get that slimmer, faster smartphone. Because with HPO, there are no contracts. HPO lets you design a phone plan that suits you. So join the thousands who've already switched to HPO, the most customizable phone plan on island. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply.
Like I said, congratulations. Derek Mendel just ran a 2-hour, 38-minute marathon in Osaka, Japan. Your reward, now that you don't have to worry about your diet, is one of these incredible cake pie ice cream deals over at Cold Stone Creamery. They're the ultimate ice cream experience. They've got the sea salt Ghirardelli, which is with the ice cream flavor, and then there's a yellow cake, and then they put everything on graham crackers. That's good. That's the way you ought to enjoy it. Congratulations to you, Derek, from your friends over at Cold Stone.
The Ray Gibson Show. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
So I got 818 in the studios, and I'm looking to see if there's any coincidence on that number there and the numbers here in Derek Mendel's splits. Are you ready for this? Guy ran the first 5 kilometers in the race in 19 minutes and 10 seconds.
Oh.
Right? First 5K was sub 20. The next 5 kilometers were run in 18 minutes. So his pace was actually getting faster. Third set of 5 kilometers was 18 minutes and 9 seconds. And it just kept getting lower and lower. By the time he got to the halfway point and the halfway mark in the marathon, he was running at about 18 minute miles, or 18-minute pacing for 5Ks, which is fast, right?
Fast.
Yeah. But wait, it gets better. He kept getting even faster. The next set of splits, 17:51. The next set after that, 17:47. And then after about the 30th kilometer here, he began to slow down a little bit, 18:37, and then finished off with about a 20-minute pace. Or not a 20-minute pace, so 20-minute 5K.
Where? I mean, I know you said Japan. Osaka, you said?
Yeah.
I've been, well, it's still kind of early. But I would say I've been to Osaka in the dead of winter, the end of December, beginning of January.
Yeah.
Now that's still a month.
That's a month. That might have contributed to his speed because it was running in cooler, drier air.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I wonder what the temperatures were this week because, like I said, I'm used to being there like in the dead of winter. That's still like a month and a half from now. So
Michael's going to check on that.
It was still snowing then, but I know it's probably too early to snow this.
I don't.
Now.
The pictures that I'd seen of the guys running don't indicate that they were running in what I refer to as heavy weather outfits.
Was it
sunny? Looked like it.
Okay.
Yeah, looked like it was. I saw a picture. Eric took a picture of Derek while he was running, and it looked like he could have been running here. The sole exception being those were the brightest shoes I've ever seen Derek wear.
Was he wearing like orange,
Yes,
green?
I'll send you the picture. It's on Facebook. What was the
sunny
temps?
and 48 in Osaka right now, but they had a cold front blow through there a little bit towards the end of last week.
That seems kind of low, yeah.
So it's probably a little cooler than this even on the day of the marathon.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I would say that's about average. I would guess that they're probably mid-50s.
Yeah, because
we're at the end of
November now. So
Yeah, I guess so. I guess November's creeping up.
It's like running in air conditioning.
Yeah,
and,
well,
and
I've
you
been
will
there.
eventually sweat.
I've been there on a 43 clear, cool, walking around Osaka. I mean, I wasn't running; I was visiting the Osaka Castle. But that's perfect weather for that area.
And you wash everything down with they sell Asahi Super Dry there. At
I
like
go the
zero.
I go
It's
the super
almost
black.
zero.
I got like the super black.
Super black is good. I think Churrasco still has that, but they sell it at as close to zero as you can get it. And they serve it up in a plastic cup, but it's a double wall plastic cup, so there's an air gap in between, so the heat from your fingers don't get transferred to the beer.
They also have Asahi also has those specific kegs. We've talked about this in the past, and even like what is it, the Honolulu airport, the Asahi machine where you just put the cup in, it tilts it back. And then pours it for you, and then tilts it back, and then
That's one of my favorite parts.
That
of going
machine, yeah.
Brad Hewitt
The United
says,
Club.
All right, so here's Brad Hewitt already lecturing us. He says it's Monday morning, football talk time. Good job to the runner, but let's discuss Mezzo and Endomorphs now. Fine. It's time for Sports with Blake. God. Yes, Nate, it always does come back to beer. Thanks for noticing my frisky behavior. It's the universal. It's we can agree to disagree on all kinds of topics here, but I think the one thing that most of us will agree on was it was a fun conversation. Let's have a beer now. Let's go. Let's enjoy
That was a good
some of that.
run. Let's go. Let's get some bubbly.
Football. Big weekend.
You never have too many beds on FM radio.
No, absolutely not. Yeah,
Especially with our new transmitter. Man, we are cooking out there.
Yeah.
Oh, you noticed?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I stuck a new transmitter. Yeah, I did. Listen,
Yeah.
you've been there's some obviously still places where there's some fringes at 93.3, but it should be better for you. And let me know about those. Send me an email, raygibsonshow@gmail.com, and let me know if it's cleared up.
On my drive-in, because I got the message over the weekend, so I decided to test it out on my drive-in, and I decided to test it out on a specific spot. So normally, if you're coming down from the Sinahanya 76 towards the Ganya Shopping Center down the hill, right before you get to right at the bottom of the hill,
mountain there.
right at the curve, it would usually go out. But this morning, it was 93.3 was rocking and rolling right through there.
Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that, and improved acoustics on it as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Big new sound.
Sounds
All right.
good.
8:23 in the morning. So we got some crazy music beds planned, which means we got to spend some time talking about fat ball games, but in particular, how you guys did with your pick'ems.
Perfect.
No way.
I mean, I missed two, and
That's not perfect.
I know. I missed two. Both decided by a field goal. Both kind of upsets if you were going by record.
Yeah.
But but I am perfect without those two. So I missed 2 out of 10 so far, and I'm looking good for the ones currently going on.
Yeah,
So, do you want to start? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not so perfect. Of course, we covered the last games last week. New Orleans beat Atlanta 31-17. That's a wrap-up from, Friday, I believe.
Yeah.
So Jacksonville lost to Buffalo. I thought they'd win that game, but they did not, which there's a part of me that's glad because they're in my division. I like them to lose every game, but I wanted them to win this because I picked them.
Their running back came back after being gone most of the season with a hamstring, talking about Leonard Fournette and the Jags. And him and Shaq Lawson got into it. Shaq Lawson is a defensive end for the Buffalo Bills. Running back is Leonard Fournette for the Jaguars. They were both ejected in this game for fighting late in the third quarter.
Wow.
So, yeah.
They think it was a hockey game?
They exchanged punches against the wall near the end zone as part of the melee that began when Jaguars receiver D.D. Westbrook shoved Bills safety Micah Hyde after the conclusion of a pass play at the Bills' 1-yard line. So tempers were flaring, and 2 premier players, which that's a big deal too for Buffalo, but I guess it didn't matter in the end as they win 24-21 in the upset. I missed that game. One of 2 I missed today.
Yeah, I just find that whole thing kind of weird because it's not like they're division rivals or anything. They rarely play each other.
Maybe they played each other. Maybe he came from the Jaguars or something. I don't know Shaq Lawson's history.
There's always that undertone.
If you remember last week, I changed this on the fly. I said the smart pick is Cincinnati because they should beat the Browns. Maybe next year the Cleveland's there, but I went ahead and went with the Browns, and it paid off, Ray.
Yeah.
Not only did they pull off the upset, they beat them 35-20.
Yeah, by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Baker Mayfield had a coming out party, and he shone like the rookie that I guess everybody thought he was going to be. So that helps. 35-20, I got that one right.
Didn't see that coming. New England, they did beat
Saw
the
this
Jets.
coming.
Yeah, we knew this was going to happen.
Easy pick.
27-13.
I'm sure that Brady got all kinds of cool stats and everything, and no one cares because it's the Patriots and Jets.
The next one went exactly like it should go, how divisional games should go, could be decided by a very small margin. Either team could win, even though they're both equally terrible. Philly, though, beats the Giants in the city of brotherly shove, 25-22.
Yeah, and they had to do a last-minute comeback because I checked the score. It was in the fourth quarter, and Giants were winning that game. And
Philly
then
needed to win, too, to
back.
keep any kind of postseason. I mean, not that they're going to the postseason. It's still going to be a hard fight, but they needed to win that game, and they did. So
they are the worst.
Interesting fight.
They are having the worst season of any Super Bowl champion.
Any
at
reigning
this
Super
point.
Bowl champion.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay beat San Francisco. Weird score, 27-9. We shouldn't talk about that. Who cares? Carolina. Carolina, they host Seattle, and Russell Wilson never bet against them. I should know that, but I still dislike Seattle so much. But he is dragging a team of nobodies to more wins than they should have as they pull off the dramatic win, 30-27.
And just to tell you how much I felt about this game, I lost one confidence point by getting it wrong. Let's see, Ravens, they did handle the Raiders, doubled them up, 34-17.
Oakland's just tanking.
Baltimore, yeah, they are. They're doing it on purpose.
Looking forward to Vegas, yeah.
Sure.
Baltimore, by the way, interesting thing. A lineman shoved his coach, and you could audibly hear, "Don't ever touch me again." But they win, so I guess whatever, it didn't matter. 34-17. Currently ongoing. It's almost halftime. We're at the 2-minute warning for the Chargers and the Arizona Redbirds. It's 10-21. Chargers lead that. I picked the Chargers. Pittsburgh is trailing to Denver by a field goal in Denver, 3-0 there. Started the second quarter. Indianapolis and the Dolphins knotted up at 7, 10 minutes left in the second quarter. And then the evening games tonight, Minnesota, Green Bay, that'll be a good one. Then tomorrow, the Oilers versus the Oilers. The Houston Texans will take on the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, and sad note, the Texans lost their owner over the Thanksgiving holiday.
Bud Adams?
No, the Texans.
Oh, that's...
No, Mr. McNair. He passed away.
Mr. McNair. Yeah.
Bud Adams died
a couple years ago, yeah. Wow.
That's why I can't talk bad about the Titans anymore. He's dead.
He's dead.
Yeah, I can't.
Brad Hewitt says, great scrap. Not sure what he was referring to. Dennis Mansour says, way to go, Browns. And what have we got here? Ismail says, how about them apples? The Washington Huskies win the Apple Cup against the Washington State Cougars during a snowstorm. Game better than anything the Nebraska Popcorn Huskers played.
I will tell you this college football game, which is hard to do, of the season, happened 4 or 5 overtimes, Ray. It was the battle, the SEC battle between the LSU Tigers and the Texas A&M Aggies.
Okay.
I think the final score was like 74-72. And it's a big deal because you have to match touchdowns in overtime in college football, and they went into 5 overtimes, which means they kept matching. And I think you start on the 20.
Right.
So, it basically, and with it being 74-72, I mean, it was just a scoring onslaught. No defense was played in that game. I watched a little bit of it, flipping back between that and the Notre Dame USC game, which shout out to our local Notre Dame people. They won.
I want to say it was like 54 to each.
Good
night. When they finished regulation.
Yeah, it was 54-54 at the end of regulation. Then they went in, and then it ended 74-72.
I can't imagine. I mean, even if you're a fan,
crazy.
Even if you're a fan, going, okay, eventually this is going to end, right? And how many people, third quarter guys said, well, that's it, and split.
Probably, I don't know, but I can tell you
not
this.
knowing that it was going to do 7 overtimes.
I had to watch it on the SEC network. That's how buried this game was. But I had it, and I watched it, and it was crazy.
It's cool as long as they keep the concession stand.
Which is the other question.
They don't.
They don't close those down.
I know for sure in baseball. This is what happens. This is the rule in baseball, Major League Baseball, and I know this. I found it out the hard way. So in baseball, it's either the bottom of the 7th inning or 9 p.m., whichever comes first. Because it's baseball, so it's not timed. So they either stop at in the middle of the 7th inning, or they stop at 9 p.m., just depending on which one happens first. So the middle of the 7th inning stretch at a baseball game, you better triple and quadruple fist if you want to keep it going.
Yeah, because otherwise, not until you leave. Now, what have I got? 8:30. Do we have any incredible local stuff that we're missing right now?
No, just there was one. Friars dropped Panthers. The reason this is a big deal: IIG boys baseball. Both were undefeated in the top 2 teams, and the Friars, who are still undefeated, 8-0. They take care of the Guam High Panthers over the weekend, 13-3, and that will drop the Guam High Panthers to 6-2, but still atop their division. So we had that big battle.
8:30 in the morning, and that's all the time we've got for sports today. Thank you, Blake. Watson's going to go next door to Star 101 and finish up the morning show. We'll finish up hours on this side of 93.3. Got the last look at headlines with Kevin Kerrigan coming up next.
Attention federal employees and annuitants. Open enrollment begins on November 12th through December 10th for federal employees' health insurance plans, with rates 19% lower than last year for Take Care's non-postal high option and access to PICA's Best Clinic FHP Health Center. Take Care's supplemental wellness package provides cash incentives and allows members access to 19 fitness partners, including the largest fully functioning fitness center in Hagåtña and Dededo. To learn more, call Take Care at 646-6956. Take Care. Our island, your health plan.
Not much by way of traffic to tell you about. Traffic from about where the post office is making its way towards Happy Market might be slowing down, but once you get past that intersection, clear sailing all the way into the downtown Hagåtña area. Got traffic in both directions on Marine Corps Drive near the flea market that's looking like it wants to slow down, but seems to be moving, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. Right now, time for the last look at headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Managing Editor Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, the former project coordinator for Guam Resource Recovery Partners says Wagner Gurgis may be removed as president of the company now that he has been convicted of tax fraud. David Sablan telling the Guam Daily Post that GRRP is a partnership and there are other people involved. He said it may be highly probable at this point that Gurgis would be removed from the partnership. Sablan said he has not had a formal business relationship with Gurgis in more than 6 years. However, he said others in GRRP have been discussing Gurgis's position and they have kept him informed. Last Tuesday, a federal jury in Honolulu found Gurgis guilty of tax evasion and witness tampering. In 1996, GovGuam granted GRRP an exclusive license to build a facility in Guatali that burns garbage to produce electricity. The project has been blocked because it's against the law to build such a facility on island. Despite Gurgis's conviction and possible ouster, Sablan said he remains a strong supporter of that waste-to-energy project, saying it is too important of an issue to keep Gurgis involved in light of his conviction. 24 bills and a veto override are on the agenda for the November legislative session scheduled to get underway Wednesday. Senator Tom Atta is seeking to override Governor Eddie Calvo's veto of his Bill 28, which seeks to improve Guam's protest plague procurement process. The governor rejected the bill last month, saying both the AG and GSA opposed the measure. During last week's Rules Committee hearing to set the agenda for the session, Senator Tom Atta noted it would be unlikely that senators would get through all 24 bills, so each senator who had a bill on the agenda was asked to pick their top 2 choices. Among the priority measures selected were Senator Talahi's choice of her bill expediting the distribution of Guam World War II claims to survivors of the occupation, and Senator Atta's bill to authorize the Chamorro Land Trust Commission to enter into a 50-year lease for Guam Raceway Park. The Hagåtña Public Swimming Pool is closed again until further notice. John Kramer, the Recreation Administrator at the Department of Parks and Rec, confirming that the pool has been shut down because of a leak, the exact location of which is not known. He said that they need to figure out more details before they can reopen. The media was not informed of the closure, but a notice was posted on the front gate last Tuesday advising that the pool was closed until further notice. However, some pool users say the pool has had a reoccurring leak problem for years, and they suggested another reason for the closure might be Department of Parks and Rec's failure to pay its water bill. GWA spokeswoman Heidi Ballendorf, however, declined to comment on that question. The Hagåtña Public Pool was shut down in March, and what the governor said then was a cost-cutting move in the face of a budget crisis. In May, the pool was shut down again after swimmers complained of an outbreak of green algae in the pool. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
I got you. And iConnect time in the studio is 8:35. Sign up for any 12-month plan for mobile or internet or push to talk, and you'll be instantly enrolled in a great set of contests that they're doing. A daily prize, and then there's weekly prizes they're giving away. Grand prize, round trip for you and a friend to Manila, and a stay at the Holiday Resort Express. You are going to absolutely love it. It all starts with a trip to iConnect.
The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts of Guam Training every morning on The Ray Gibson Show.
How much time are workers wasting? What are they wasting it on, and what should be done about it? I'm Jerry Roberts, and at 7:20 a.m. on The Ray Gibson Show, we look for answers.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point by Jerry Roberts at guamtraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts on The Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point.
What do we got in last look at traffic before, unless something else, Harry, comes up. But otherwise, it looks like we've got traffic in some of the usual locations for second string traffic in the 8 o'clock hour around the post office and making your way towards Happy Mart, north and southbound Marine Corps Drive from about where is that, Payless, and then southbound. You'll see some traffic, and that's joining northbound traffic that looks like it's getting a little bit heavy up there as well. Look for traffic around the Micronesia Mall intersection to be a little bit heavy coming out and getting onto Route 16. And then, am I looking at anything else here that you need to know about? It looks fairly clear. Not hearing about any accidents. I am getting words of a couple of down traffic signal lights. Bob Kelly writes in this morning, he said the traffic light in front of St. Anthony's School is flashing red on San Antonio Drive. I have been taught to stop at a flashing red light and check the traffic and proceed. I did so and almost caused an accident because no one else is stopping. What is the proper thing to do for a flashing red light at a crosswalk? And I think you got it right. I think you got it right. You're supposed to stop and treat it like it's a four-way stop, right? That's what it says in the book where you take the exam, they give you that question. But in real life and in practicality, no, you just you gun it. You go for it. You look to. I always look and try to get behind like a truck or a van or something like that because they'll just go right through the intersection and I'll draft him right in behind them.
Yeah. Folks here like to run red lights and drive without their headlights on, so that flashing red light, it's like it doesn't even exist.
Somebody else's problem, as they say. It's 8:37 in the morning. Also heard there was a flashing light or an out light over at Woostig Road up in Didido. So looks like the guys from Traffic and Highways have got their work cut out for them after the long weekend. It's 8:37. I'll be right back.
Once upon a time, if you suffered a stroke, extreme form of cancer, or needed specialized care like open heart surgery, you had to go off-island for treatment. Today, GRMC provides this care so patients recover on Guam, surrounded by family. Follow-up care happens locally, and there are no additional expenses for a caregiver to travel with you. If you're a federal employee or retiree, choose Calvo Select Care, the only insurance plan serving the federal market that includes GRMC, where patients are partners.
Away from 9 o'clock in the morning, 888-825-598-5874 if you want to WhatsApp me. And there are topics out there that are worthy of WhatsApping. Some video that you might have seen over the weekend, and it's kind of hard to describe. I'm not entirely sure what the guy was on, but no doubt you've seen a video, and I'll play it. I don't know that the audio is clean, so we'll just put the video on the air on Facebook Live so people can see what it is that was in my email inbox here over the weekend. It's a guy seems to be having a really, really good time dancing around on the streets in front of the house and generally making a nuisance of himself. And I know that I'm not the only one that was concerned about this. Apparently he was arrested later on in the evening. And he's. I think what we're going to need to do with this, Mike, is maybe a little music bed in the background as we watch him do his dude dance on the street. What do you think? You got anything? Come on. You got Mr. Music Bed in there. Nothing? Rise to the challenge, man. Rise to the challenge. We'll find some. No, I tell you what, I'll play it again later. Because I think it's that much of an interesting piece of video that people have seen. And I don't know that if you've seen the punchline on this. And the punchline is he was apparently arrested for doing something a little bit later on in the evening. I don't know if it was a result of a 911 call. And apparently that's something that we may never know as a result of the system being down, or that part of the 911 system being down. Kevin Riley from the fire department's on the line. Good morning, Kev.
Good morning, Ray.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you. Happy holidays.
That's how I'm starting everything, because it's after Thanksgiving, so I'm Merry Christmasing everybody between now and New Year's. Tell me the story on the recording part of 911. Part of the system works, part of the system doesn't work?
Okay, so the recorder system has been intermittently down, since 2016. When it was down, temporarily, it has been able to be repaired. However, this last time in 2017, I believe it was in July, the parts availability was no longer there due to the antiquated system that we have.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's to be expected. I don't think we've done an upgrade on that system since ever.
Yeah, it's been 20 years since we've had that system installed.
All right, so let me get this. So is it February, that part of the system stopped working, and then it was it completely busted? I mean, you're using the word intermittent, but from what I'm told, there have not been any recordings made in the system outside of radio traffic since February of 2016. So it was either working or not working.
It went down, meaning power supply went down. It was repaired. The board went down. It was repaired.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's permanently down, and we are no longer, able to record incoming 911 calls. However, keep in mind, it does not affect our response times. This does not, affect our emergency responders. Or our service to the community.
No, and we're obviously glad that that's not the case, but it's the part that is now alarming folks over at the legislature and probably among those at the Attorney General's office that say, and oftentimes, sometimes the crimes are called in to 911, and that can be used as evidence to support the chase for justice in these cases. In this case now, those attorneys, defense and prosecution, don't have access to 911 calls.
Right, and that's not a mandated that's not mandated service that we provide. However, it's been expected of us, so we've done it in the past, and we'll continue to do it. As far as it being a new issue, it's a reason why in 2012, 2013 timeframe is when we started pushing to have this NG911, the next generation 911 system, put into place.
Right.
Yeah. So
well, that's turned into its own drama. That's almost a sidebar on this case with the E911 monies and the availability of funds that were used for something else. My understanding is that Motorola had gone to GFD and provided quotations to troubleshoot and repair that system since it went down. Has anybody looked at those quotations? Were those quotations looked at the time where the parts were available to fix them?
If the parts were available to fix them, we had them fixed. It wasn't a question about money. It came down to availability of parts, like I said. It's never been a question of if we paid for the services to be done. It's just the services were no longer available because of the system.
Now, I'm trying to get in my head a visual of the systems that you've got there, because there is recording that is taking place, correct?
That would be on GPD's side. As far as their dispatch, remember, there's two separate. When you call 911, you get the fire department. It is our emergency dispatchers that answer the phone.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so there is a recording system, but it's only on the GPD side.
Yes, for radio transmission.
For radio traffic. So any 911 calls that you answer and then port over to GPD are still not getting recorded.
Correct.
Okay. Is there any way that you can take the system that GPD has and I don't know, open up another channel for the switchboard conversation so that those can be recorded?
Well, you're looking at the difference between the 911 telephone and the SmartNet radio system. So they're two separate systems. We've had this issues, we dealt with it, and now the system is just too far obsolete to try and fix it. We can't find the parts.
Okay, and now there has been, I want to say, a lengthy time period where there had to be a review over at the Attorney General's office. At least this is my recollection of a conversation with Assistant Chief Joey St. Nicholas, who indicated that there was an ongoing process at the Attorney General's office to have them bless the RFP.
Yes, definitely. Any purchases made over $500,000 has to go to AG's office for
Correct.
approval.
And that has since been approved. Now, the Attorney General's office has since blessed it now, and you're moving forward with the RFP, correct?
Yes, and remember, not only does the Attorney General's office have to review this, but the Office of Technology has to sign off on it too, to make sure that we're not using names of companies, and making sure that the process is correct.
Oh, yeah. So you don't want to be specific and say, I want the Ray Gibson system, or it's got to be a system that has got Michael Knight's approval.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Otherwise, we get into the situation where we want buses that are put together with screws, not rivets.
Right. Exactly what you mentioned. It has to be even, for all vendors.
So the Bureau of Information Technology, I was wondering what they did, because frankly, I haven't seen anything very productive out of them since they stood up that particular division in the government of Guam. So they have reviewed this now, and have the RFPs gone out to vendors?
The RFP has gone out to vendors. We have until November 30th to review, a question and answer period for us. Any questions or comments that the vendors may have had, we need to address. And then once we address those, we send the answers out to the vendors. Then we can get the bid proposals.
All right. And now, when are you expecting all of this to come in? As has been pointed out now, we're already at the end of November practically, into December, and there's going to be an inauguration, and arguably there's going to be new people running the fire department in a very, very short amount of time. Will this coincide? Will this procurement be done before or after the inauguration and the seating of new department heads?
It may be in between, meaning we're expecting the proposals to come in by December, and then we have to review them, see which one fits the specifications, the most accurate to the specifications we requested, and then choose, of course, the bidder that meets that. Then the system has to be installed. So yes, we may in December be able to pick and award a vendor.
Yeah.
But then, of course, give that time, the transition to install the system.
Well, it's also, and some of the conventional wisdom and guys that I've been talking to chatting about this are suggesting that maybe you hold off on some of that review until after the inauguration, and have the incoming chief and the incoming guys take a look at it. As opposed to making the decision now and then having them try to work themselves around it post-inauguration.
We're not sure what exactly is going to happen with as far as you mentioned about the new fire chief.
Yeah, I don't know. It might keep everybody in the same chairs. There's certainly a lot of specifications required by law for chiefs of police and fire department.
Right. So we don't know what's going to happen. We can't put the system on hold any longer to wait for that to happen. So we're going to push forward. With the reviews that we've had. With the fire management, with the emergency dispatchers, Office of Technology, OTEC, and the AG's office, everybody concurs that, even with the vendors, everybody concurs that this is the best system. This is the most up to date. This is the most, it's going to work. We don't think that we'd see any trouble with another chief coming in and saying something like, hey,
I don't like this one. It's not shiny like the one I saw at my convention.
Right.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. You're always going to get some kind of disagreement on this. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I mean, I'm sure that there are conversations between the outgoing administration and the incoming administration, so that there is at least a little bit of a consistency and a positive handoff from one side to the other once it's all said and done. Just a couple other questions about this. Where will the money come from to pay for this? There was a whole bunch of money that was in the E911 fund that got transferred out for other purposes. That got the attention and the ire of the Federal Communications Commission. Is there money now being set aside and stockpiled in an account now to support the purchase when the RFP is awarded?
Yes, the money will be available in the E911 fund.
Now, are you buying the whole thing outright, or is this something that you can pay over time?
No, that's why we did a RFP. That's the reason for the RFP, is because it's more like a services or a lease type agreement, that the payments would be spread over a 5-year period, at the end of the 5-year period, the government has the option to buy.
Interesting. Okay, well, I take a look at it when I get a chance. The couple other questions that I've got for you, and one of them is, I was at Gun Beach yesterday and saw a rescue of a couple of paddle boarders that got stuck on the wrong side of the reef. You guys been busy doing that recently?
Oh yes, we've been having a lot. That was one incident. The day before, we had another distressed swimmers. Thankfully, they made it safely back to shore. Our units were on scene. I believe the Coast Guard was also doing training and
just happened to be in the water already. How nice.
Yeah, exactly. So, luckily, thankfully, people have been, a little more cautious, I guess, and have been making it back to shore. But we've had our units on the scene, as you saw.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it didn't take that long once I think the word got out. It's just a question of getting a boat moving at rapid motion, I think from Paseo, right?
Yes, Agana Boat Basin, the marina in Agana, that's where we launch out of. Our response time is usually 2 minutes, and that boat's.
Well, everybody was very happy and watched with a great deal of joy as these guys were plucked out off of their paddle boards and onto the boat, and then the subsequent drama of getting the paddle boards onto the boat, which was kind of fun to watch from shore. And we offer our congratulations to how many new cadets? How many new fire department guys?
42 are now at work. Actually, they are in service and ready to perform, fully certified according to national standards, and very eager.
Now this is it's firefighting and first responders, medical guys, medical technicians, that kind of thing.
Yes, we got the complement: firefighting, EMS, and hazmat.
Gotcha. Well, congratulations to them. When's now? They've already had the graduation ceremony, right?
Yes, our graduation was Friday.
In uniform and at the shops now.
Oh yeah, as soon as they graduate next day, they're out on the field.
Gotcha. Listen, I appreciate your time here. I guess a little bit more of the drama with the 911 system that we've seen earlier in the year, but now just a question of finding somebody to award the contract to, and then the installation of the E911 system, and we should start to see that action in December, and maybe an award in December, and an installation starting January, February next year.
Correct. That's exactly what we're looking for. In the meantime, again, there's no concern about public being provided the services that we offer. We will continue to respond. Our telephone system is working. Our dispatch system is working. We're not having any issues with response times and response cases.
And tell you what, there's a couple of guys. I mean, and I'd be more than happy to come by and take a look at the system that isn't working. I mean, if it's just a question of getting some audio out of a box and into a computer that can record, there's all kinds of systems off the shelf and in fact free downloads that you can get that will help you accomplish those things.
Yeah, as far as the technical aspect, you're more than welcome. Give me a call. You can. We can
field trip. It's a field trip to 911. I've never been on one of those.
Absolutely.
I think that'd be groovy. I'm being told to ask you about radio coverage in the South. Are you guys having any issues being able to communicate past, I was going to say Mount Olutum? Once you get on that side of it, unless you've got some kind of a relay or a bounce up on Mount Olutum, there's a big mountain, and that puts a surprising amount of what's the word I'm looking for here? Will decrease your radio signal significantly.
Yes. So. We've been experiencing problems with the Mount Olutum Tower. That's the repeater for down south. But that is not in our control. That's a repeater, that's privately owned by the telecommunications companies that we use. So if their system goes down, we rely on line of sight, which gives us a few miles of radio communications.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky if you don't have a repeater system down there. Well, it might be a little bit more to that, and as I said, I know guys that might want to take a look at that and see if they can help you out with being able to revive it so that you've got better coverage down south.
Bring these guys by. Myself, the fire chief, would love to have these gentlemen here if they can offer any advice, support. In between us getting the new system, by all means.
Well, I tell you what, we all deal in different issues. We've got the gizmo that goes up to Mount Aludum, and once it's up in Channel 10, and you know what that area is like. Once you're up there, then you're at the ravages of Mother Nature, and it's a hostile environment out there, to be sure, up way high, and it takes a while to get to, and you got to make sure you bring all your tools and all your replacement stuff until it's all done. Generators and power supplies and things like that.
And that's why, because we saw these problems also, we purchased a repeater system, our own repeater system, and we have a mobile comms truck, a communications truck. So if we're having radio problems, we send that up. It's a digital repeater. We send the truck up. It sets up its large antenna, has its own power capability, charges radios and provides.
I think I've been in that truck. I've been on a field trip in that truck. You're right. It is kind of groovy. Got a note from somebody, wants to remain anonymous on the WhatsApp, says recruits are not in the field until Thursday of this week. Can you corroborate that?
Okay, they're doing final processing. Yes, they technically they are firefighter ones ready to serve, and Thursday would be their
The first day in the house. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Well, I appreciate the anonymous tip there, and Kevin Riley, appreciate your time here this morning talking about the 911 system that we've got. You guys really got to get to work on that. I know it's not a mandate of the system, but it certainly is kind of a nice to have. And then once that recording system is up, I'd like it to be made available to media people and journalists so that we would be able to hear and play for our listeners the 911 recordings.
Okay, that would be that would be touchy as far as whether the case is sealed or not, but of course upon request, we could be able to provide, assuming that it's going to be allowed for us to provide it.
All right, and another note from my anonymous tipster here says Ray Tenorio claimed that all stations are equipped with an ambulance unit. Is that true?
No, that's not true.
Maybe Ray Tenorio said it was. Which stations don't have ambulances?
Right now, we're looking at stations that would normally have an ambulance versus stations that don't have ambulances, such as station number 2, which is our ALS unit is stationed there. So that one usually doesn't have an ambulance.
But it does now. Okay, so this is what I'm getting. It's great to have anonymous guys here. Sorry to put you on the spot here. Not sorry.
Yeah, no.
Stations without an ambulance, Stumbo, Zotnia, Telefofo, and Pidi right now. Those stations are manned, but there's no ambulance there. Why is there a shortage?
It would not necessarily a shortage on the ambulance, but on personnel, and that's the whole reason for this cycle to come up. Once that happens, of course, we'll be adding more ambulances to the fleet.
Okay, but you've got the vehicles.
Yes.
Gotcha. All right, so just a question of getting more guys at the station houses and all trained up to be able to drive them and provide the services when somebody calls the 911 that's not going to get recorded. Kevin, you've been a big help this morning. Appreciate your time, dude.
No problem. Absolutely, Ray.
That's fun. It's fun being a spokesperson, right?
Yeah, it's great.
All right. Merry Christmas, bro. 8:58 and change. That's the word from Kevin Riley from the Guam Fire Department on issues dealing with 911. The system has been down for the last couple of years. They have the money to replace the parts, but the parts don't exist because the system is 20 years old. And the reason why that hasn't been replaced is because somebody took the money to build FestPac huts or something. I don't know what they used that dough for, but the money that you and I pay every time we pay a phone bill that's supposed to be going to the E911 went into a fund and then got absconded with somewhere.
That money went to pay for the primary election.
You think? Well, but primary election, maybe it went to go pay for the payday, the holiday on Friday. Maybe it went into that direction. So they've got a plan to buy a new system. They say they've got money coming in to buy the new system, and it might be worth the conversation about who is going to be managing this over the short term and who's going to be protecting that 911 money that is coming coming in every month and going somewheres I don't know. Radio station is KUSG. I got Fox News Live coming up in the next hour of the program. That's going to launch us into the 9 o'clock hour of the program. Also got some friends from Manielo that are going to be coming in, and you're going, what's that? Manielo used to be Big Brothers Big Sisters, and they've changed and now have localized to better serve the community. We'll talk about a couple of events that they've got coming up here in the near term and how you might be able to get involved with them, especially around the holidays. That's important. What they're going to be talking about in Fox News, I don't know. On the Fox website, tear gas deployed, tensions high after hundreds of caravan migrants rushed towards the U.S. port of entry. Huh. Not shooting guns yet. I guess that's the good news. Here it comes, Fox News Live.
The timing could not be worse. I'm Jane Metzler, Fox News. As Americans head home after the holiday weekend, 14 million under blizzard warnings this hour.
We expect a combination of heavy snow and reduced visibilities and blowing winds to occur across a large portion of southeast Iowa, across northern Illinois and lower Michigan tonight. And these conditions should taper, and it'll get better tomorrow as the storm pulls away.
National Weather Service meteorologist Dan Peterson. Numerous accidents reported. A stretch of I-80 shut down between Omaha and Lincoln, Nebraska, after several semis jackknifed I-29 shut down in Missouri near the Iowa border. The Red Cross opening a shelter in Colorado, where scores of holiday travelers were stranded overnight when I-70 was closed after a 20-vehicle pileup. And if you're flying, check with your carrier. Hundreds of flights canceled. The U.S. Border Patrol using tear gas to disperse a crowd of migrants trying to breach a fence and cross into the U.S. at the San Ysidro crossing. That is now closed, with demonstrations going on in both Tijuana and San Diego. Some kids in that group of migrants said to be coughing and screaming in the mayhem.
But it appears most of that group of the caravan has dispersed and moved along. Now, we should mention there have been demonstrations on both sides of the border today, both in the U.S. and in Mexico. Organizers saying this is supposed to be a very peaceful demonstration.
Fox's Jeff Paul. Extra Border Patrol agents have been deployed, with U.S. Army troops providing support. Mexico's newly elected president takes over December 1st. Still unclear from one inter-cabinet member's comments whether he'll allow migrants to stay in Mexico until their claims for asylum can be heard. This is Fox News.
Docomo Pacific is making the Better Together bundle even better. 2 great services plus more. Get unlimited local calls, SMS, and 20 gigs of data, plus unlimited home internet for $109 a month. Sign up today and get free installation and choose between a free Galaxy S8, S8 Plus, or $100 off select devices. Mobile plus online from Docomo Pacific. Better together. Some conditions apply. See store for details.
Knowing that we have choices in medical providers locally and outside of Guam is important and reassuring. This is the reason why Calvo Select Care provides quality health care options to its members. From a wide array of local, primary, and specialty doctors and clinics to a comprehensive hospital network on island and outside of Guam, you can trust Calvo Select Care to be there for you. Federal employees and annuitants enroll today. Call 477-9808 for more information.
Heading to prison tomorrow, former Trump campaign foreign policy advisor George Papadopoulos. He pleaded guilty to lying to federal agents when asked about his contacts with Russians during the 2016 campaign, forfeiting most of his rights to contest his conviction. He asked a judge to delay his 2-week prison term until an appeals court rules in a separate case on the legality of Robert Mueller's appointment as special counsel. His request for that delay denied. Her only crime, having cotton candy in the car. A Georgia woman who spent 4 months behind bars because she couldn't pay her bail now wants payback.
Dasha Fincher was pulled over on New Year's Eve 2016. At first, Fincher was told it was for having dark-tinted windows, but deputies in Macon County later admitted her windows were legal. They then found a clear bag with a blue substance. She said it was cotton candy. The deputies claim field tests showed there was meth in the bag. Fincher was then jailed and faced some serious charges. Eventually, another lab test was done which said the substance was not a drug, but just cotton candy. The charges against her were eventually dropped. She's now suing. The lawsuit says a type of field test used had a history of producing false positive results. Marcus White, Fox News.
Only one change this week in AP's top 25 college football rankings.
Michigan dropped 4 spots to number 8 following Saturday's 62-39 loss to Ohio State. As a result, the Buckeyes moved up to number 6, with Georgia, Oklahoma, and Central Florida each moving up a spot to numbers 4, 5, and 7, respectively. The top 3 teams remain the same, with Alabama followed by Clemson and Notre Dame.
That's Fox's Ryan Mayer, and I'm Jane Metzler. This is Fox News.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Rita Tidigli of Manila, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Ingatan ang iyong tahanan, protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Is it time for me to talk about Kings? It's my favorite subject at Kings. They got the crazy holiday menu. Crazy Mad Cat. They're using K with crazy instead of a C. That's how you can tell that these guys are really, really frisky about the food that they're preparing for you. And the way they're doing this, they're calling it the crazy menu because they're taking some of our favorite flavors of the holidays and putting them into Kings form. They've got these great sandwiches, turkey sandwiches, open-faced turkey, katumpika sandwiches, the fried steak sandwich, and the chicken ranch BLT. Tasty, tender, good for you, and available all the time at King's.
Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dededo, 633-4473, Hagåtña, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by American President Lines. They're shipping the future Micronesia renewable energy. Never been a better time to go solar. American Water Tech. In fact, my guest is drinking water that came out of an American Water Tech device that we've got in the lunchroom. It dispenses hot, cold, and vodka. At least I think that's water. And also brought to you by Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your open heart surgery needs. Dun dun.
What are the benefits of switching to the handset payment option with GTA? For starters, you can customize a plan that matches your budget and lowers your monthly payment. HPO lets you upgrade to the latest phones whenever you want. No more waiting for a contract to end to get that slimmer, faster smartphone. Because with HPO, there are no contracts. HPO lets you design a phone plan that suits you. So join the thousands who've already switched to HPO, the most customizable phone plan on island. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply.
We're going to be talking about breakfast with Santa. You know what Santa wants for breakfast? Ice cream. That's what he wants, and we'll do it. We'll do it the way they do it at Cold Stone. So it's not just ice cream. I mean, it's got a cake, and there's nothing wrong with having cake for breakfast as well. But they've got this sea salt caramel pie scream cake, and it starts with the ice cream, and then they put moist yellow cake on that, and then they put everything on a graham cracker pie crust. So you have, that's why they call it a pie scream. Ice cream, pie, cake. It's all in there, and the fertile imagination of the folks over at Cold Stone Creamery, the ultimate ice cream experience.
The Ray Gibson Show, your new News Talk headquarters.
We found Monday. After a 4-day, well, for some people, a 4-day weekend, we had to come in and slave over hot microphones on Friday, but then I think everybody took off at 10, right? We just leave you and go out there and try to do some Black Friday shopping. Did you get any of that done? Sam Titano's in the studio, and normally, I should say Samantha. I should introduce you formally like that. Samantha Titano is in the studio.
Both is fine, though.
Both is fine. And so how's the weather up north in the shadow of Mount Santa Rosa?
It's pretty good. A little bit of rain this weekend, but besides that, it was pretty sunny.
Well, I got the sunny part. I don't know if you can see if you can see past the scruffy beard, but there's the underneath it all. The face is completely red because yesterday was Grill Mark Sunday, and so yeah, it was absolutely perfect. So went by the beach, hung out there, and would have left early, but a couple of guys got stranded over the reef, and I wanted to watch that drama to its conclusion, and so I did. Anyway, so we're playing around, and I can't remember where it was exactly, but I had heard that there were going to be some changes to the way Big Brothers and Big Sisters work. So we'll start from there, and then we'll start talking about Breakfast with Santa on Saturday.
Okay, so we are now Manyetlu. We're formerly Big Brothers Big Sisters of Guam, and as you know, we've been around for about 16 years, and kind of over the course of the years, we have expanded from our one-to-one mentoring program, which matches children facing adversity with positive adult role models, to really realizing that in order to really support the child, you really need to start with the family as well.
Yes.
And so we've really expanded to
Systems of care, I like to call that.
Yes.
Where it's kind of a wraparound. We get the child at the center of all of this, and we start looking from the child outwards on all of the people that are associated with the child and some of the things that they're going to need to learn to be able to work with these kids.
Yes. So really, we've expanded to providing programs that really empower and educate both the children and the families.
Well, let's talk about some of those, because I remember when they first came, Big Brothers Big Sisters, when that first came out here to Guam, and there were a lot of people that were really excited about it because it was a program that seemed to be working so well with a number of kids, and it's also beneficial to the adults that are brought into the program as well, the people that become Big Brothers and Big Sisters. And you know, it was one of those where we got a kid out in the community that might not have the best home situation, so we'll match him up with a big brother or her up with a big sister, and we're going to the movies and we're going shopping and we're going to get our nails done and all of those kinds of, you know, kind of fun one-on-one things. Has that changed completely? I mean, you still do that, right?
Yes, we still have our one-to-one mentoring program, and as you mentioned, it is a really proven strategy in order to kind of empower the child to have better self-esteem. And as you mentioned, it's also extremely important for the adults because it's an extremely rewarding experience to, you know, kind of make that kind of difference on a child's life, watch them grow and develop, and you kind of grow and develop with them.
Yes, I've seen so many versions of that. There was a fellow a couple of years ago, well-known runner in the community, and he had a little brother, and so he would come out to the race. And now this guy was an elite. I mean, he was a fast runner, but when he started running with this kid, he kind of hang back with the kid and encouraged the young man to go and learn to run fast, and all of the self-esteem that comes from, you know, hey, I'm winning, I'm placing, I'm doing all of these things, and it was something powerful to witness, and I'm sure that both of them were better as a result of it. So I'm glad to hear that program is going on. Now tell me about some of the other programs where we're actually wrapping more than one or two people around a kid.
Okay, so we also have after-school programs that we have in some of our low-income areas. So we have them in some of our Gura sites, in Pagachao, in the Mungmung area, the Toto Gardens, and also Jonya. And we usually have either bi-weekly or weekly activities with those kids. And we also encourage the parents to come out, and we kind of do workforce development programs with them as well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So that they might be able to get themselves out of these low-rent situations.
Yes. So that's, you know, empowering the family to also empower the child. Also, with our after-school programs, we have site-based mentoring. So we actually match the children with mentors, and they actually do all of the mentoring activities at the site. And this is really going towards
What
our
site?
high school students. The Gura sites that we have,
I see.
the after-school
I
activities
see.
at.
So you're there where the kids are. When the bus drops them off, somebody is there and can pick up where the teachers leave off.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so it's not like they have to go to a community center somewhere.
No, we go to the actual community sites. And, you know, a lot of these areas don't have community centers, so we just have a pop-up tent and some chairs and tables, and we bring games and sports equipment.
Nice.
Yes.
Yes. So, activities and wholesome activities, and there's people that are trained to be able to work with these kids and ask them questions and find out about their lives, and maybe even match them up with an adult.
Yes, either an adult or we have the option of high school students who are interested in mentoring. We allow them to mentor. It's facilitated mentoring at the sites.
Oh, that is good.
Yeah.
That is good. So what do they call it? Service learning, I think, is what they've coined the phrase for that kind of thing. So you've got a high school junior, high school senior, and they need to get the credits. And working with these kids is a fulfilling way to do it.
Yes.
And I'm sure the hours just fly by.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, it's got to be. And now, you've got a website. I mean, a Facebook page, right?
Yes, we have a Facebook page, an Instagram, a Twitter, and a website.
Yeah, we were talking at the beginning. There's a flyer that she sent me that was the trigger for this conversation. And again, I'm talking with Samantha Taitano from Manielo, and it was like I couldn't find it in everywhere I was looking. And she's like, "Oh, I sent it to your WhatsApp." And that's the crazy thing. And maybe one of the things that you have to learn to work with, especially with all of these I don't want to call them clients, but young people that you work with, is you and I might communicate in email, but they're communicating on Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter and Facebook, and less on Facebook. But there's so many different methods that we've had to relearn now, huh?
Yes, and just maintaining all of those is
daunting.
Yes.
Daunting. I have a whole person outside, and that's her job, is to make sure that all of our websites and social sites are kept up to speed here at the radio stations. Now the trigger, as I said, for the interview here this morning, is a conversation about, and I'm in love with this. Like I said, I'm starting to Merry Christmas people wherever I go, because we're on this side of Thanksgiving, right? So we're on this side of Thanksgiving, so everything should be Merry Christmas. You see somebody, and it's Merry Christmas, whether you've got your lights up or not, whether you've got your tree up or not, because it's that time of year, and so. One of the first Christmas activities is going to be taking place with Manielo this weekend.
Yes, so we will be having our annual Breakfast with Santa. So this is something that we used to do as Big Brothers Big Sisters, and we are definitely going to carry over this really fun and festive event. So it will be this Saturday.
So I just lost it there. It's on the WhatsApp. 15 other conversations have come in since I've looked at it. So it's going to be Saturdays at Pac Star?
Yes, so Saturday, December 1st at the Pacific Star Resort and Spa in the Chamorro Ballroom. And it'll be from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Doors open at 8:30. And it will be a breakfast buffet. Santa will be coming down to take pictures with kids. And then we will also have a lot of fun and festive activities for the kids to participate in, anything from cookie decorating to decorating your own slime, face painting.
Oh, slime is massive with the girls, isn't it?
Slime. All of the kids.
Was it last year or year before? You couldn't go into an office supply store and find white glue. Just impossible. And maybe you've gone. What happened to it all? White glue is one of the ingredients in slime, and that's their girls. And it's universal. It's everywhere. I was in North Carolina last year talking to a girl same age as my daughter, and so I asked her about her slime, and she looked at me like, "How did you know we do slime?" I said, "Because everybody is doing slime. Even on Guam we're sliming." So slime decorating. Have you done a sloam with what is it? They take little beads of just these little beads, and they put them in the slime to give it some kind of texture. Have you done that yet?
No, I have not. But I know we're going to have lots of different things like glitter and beads to put in the slime to Christmasify your slime.
We're making new words here. It's a whole new vocabulary with Samantha. And so that's, as you said, doors open at 8:30. It goes until about noon. $30 for grown-ups, $15 if you've got kids. And that will get you the buffet, all of the activities, a picture with Santa Claus, who's coming in from the North Pole just for this particular event, all of the activities and performances that are going to be taking place. Who's performing? Did you get big names?
So we have the kids from Chook will be performing.
You know, Joe Guam's got a new EP out. Maybe you could twist his arm.
Oh.
Yeah. I'll WhatsApp you his contact information.
Okay, actually, I have
on.
his contact
information. Oh, you got his contact. Yeah.
So I'm going to WhatsApp him right now.
It's like Christmas music.
Oh, I did not know.
Timing is perfect.
I know. Timing is perfect.
And so you've got the food going on there. Pac Star Resort and Spa, Synergy Studios, and the Boca-Box to get your tickets if you want to get them in advance.
Yes, and you can also get them online at eventbrite.com.
That is so cool. I've noticed more and more people are using Eventbrite to be able to get into different events.
Yeah, sometimes it's just easier to get them online and know that you have them than to
Right,
drive somewhere.
And it's happier for you because you get the money in your pocket right away with Eventbrite. That's the other cool thing about it. Any sponsors you want to say thank you to?
We want to say thank you to all of our sponsors. So we have Bank of Guam, Bank of Hawaii, Pacific Star, Guam Young Professionals, Sanford Technology, PFC, Royal Bix, Ambrose, Manson, Windward Memorial, Guam Premium Outlets, Calvo Enterprise, Data Management Resources, and WDI International.
With all those sponsors here, and
yes,
they should be buying all of the meals. They should cover all the meals here. What is that now? Are they giving you goodies to give away? Will there be door prizes?
There will be door prizes and raffle prizes.
Gotcha. For information, where do people go?
You can go to our Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. It's manelu.gu, so MANELU.gu.
You don't have to do the N with the little squiggle on top of it?
No, we didn't want to make it too hard.
More complicated than it needs to be. I got you. 9:19 in the studio with Samantha Taitzino from Manielu. And so this is a big fundraising and activity for the holidays.
Yes.
Have you already put together the calendar for 2019?
We have the beginning. We have, our major events and the beginning of the year kind of planned out. So we will be doing some art workshops at the beginning of the year in some of the communities that we're in. And so we're hoping to have a art show at the Guam Museum, I think around spring break. So in April. Yeah.
So I like the way that you combine the activity with the fundraising opportunity that you've got, and then there's the tertiary stage with the displays that you're going to be doing. So I mean, it's like from beginning to end. There's always another avenue here for community involvement.
Yes, and so we're really excited to kind of show what the kids can do. So we're excited about that.
Well, I'm excited that you're excited, and the answer is whenever you need to talk about it on the radio, the answer is yes. You just come by, send me a WhatsApp or an Instagram or you can do an old-fashioned, or you can call. You can actually, I don't know, people don't do this anymore. You can actually press 7 numbers on 7 digits on the phone, and when we can speak words to each other over the telephone and set things up.
We'll try that next time.
It's the old-fashioned way. 20 after 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to go ahead and call that iConnect time in the studios of 93.3 The Point, and they've got a great program there that is fun to play around with, and it could get you to Manila. Here's the way it works. You get yourself any one of these 12-month programs. It's a mobile phone or internet or push-to-talk, which is a great way to manage your company, and so you get those systems online and in place, and then you're instantly qualified to win the grand prize drawing. Trip for two to Manila with a stay at the Holiday Inn Express that they've got out there, and we're giving away stuff every week to promote this. So for details, go to iConnectGuam.com or call 888-8888.
Helen Keller once said, "Blindness separates us from things, but deafness separates us from people." At Ross Hearing Aids, it's their mission to keep you connected to the moments and the people that matter most in your life. Hearing aid technology has never been better, so schedule your complimentary hearing consultation today. Call Ross Hearing Aids, 637-HEAR, 637-4327. You should hear what you're missing. I love you, Daddy. How's your hearing?
There's a reason every day a Guam homeowner is getting a solar system installed by Micronesia Renewable Energy. It's because MRE is the most trusted name in solar. With more solar energy solutions than any other solar company on island, homeowners have a choice to go solar for zero money down or take the path to ownership. Whichever way, it keeps our skies blue and your pockets green. And with the most experienced solar technicians and an energy production guarantee, there are no worries. Call 632-2613 for a free consultation. MRE, the smarter choice.
Hungry? Enjoy a hearty, rich, and delicious cup of hot soup. In the mood for chili instead? You can have that too. And get a scoop of rice while you're at it. Circle K. Take it easy. Stop by Circle K and pick up snacks to satisfy your cravings without sacrificing good health. Look for the Better For You labels to find what works with your lifestyle. Low carbs, high protein, low sugar, and more. Circle K. Take it easy.
7:22 in the morning, and we'll see what we can scare up in terms of stories here for the next couple of minutes. Those of you that are watching on Facebook Live, number one, thanks very much. I'm here, and I'm really, really glad you're there. Some incredible conversation that is taking place in the last little bit. Conversations about the E911 systems, et cetera, and we'll spend a little bit more time talking about that and other parts of the system that are not providing the kind of coverage that they would like to have, or that some think that they should have, down in the south of Guam. So that's the thing about Guam. Anybody that's lived here long enough will recognize that, man, you make a pass here and you begin to lose, the sound of the radio station, something like that. But it's even worse when we're talking about the emergency response systems. So that's something that they're going to obviously need to get to work on. 888-8255. 888-TALK, 988-5874, and a couple of videos that I've seen over the weekend that I will play for you. One of them is the guy dancing, and I'm specifically saying that now so that Michael will find some appropriate music that we can play while the guy is doing his meth head dance. At least we think it's, as some people have said, it's a meth head dance. We'll see what we can come up with in a couple of minutes. And I did want to finish up the conversation and put a period at the end of the gubernatorial and general election conversation. Maria Pangilinan from the GEC on the line with me this morning. And it was a delight seeing you on Saturday night.
Thank you very much, Ray Gibson. It was a delight to see you as well.
You looked like you had gotten some rest in between the last time you and I spoke and Saturday night. Is it true?
Yes, sir.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Well, you got a full plate in front of you over at the GEC and all the other things that you've got that are important in your life. So I'm glad that you were able to do that, and glad that you were able to enjoy some time with the families that were gathered for Uncle Frank's 80th anniversary. That was something else, huh?
It was great.
How many Budweisers did you have?
Didn't.
What? There's an Ambrose party. There was Budweiser everywhere.
I won't tell you what I was drinking.
All right. Well, listen, after the election, I don't think anyone would deny you a good stiff drink.
It was good.
Or two.
What I was drinking was very good.
I'm just going to leave that there. Merry Christmas to you and the family. And now it's just transition time. A couple of things left over. We were able to finally determine who was going to be number 15 on the list, right? On the senatorial side. Maria? We're going to have to, Mike, you're going to have to re-ring her and get her back on the line. Nate Horn says we need to add that to the Lou and Josh list of things they need to fix. And the answer is I've already put that on the list. I'm not a member of the transition team. I know some of the people that are, and will be presenting them on your behalf a copy of the Ray Gibson Show list of crap we want Lou and Josh to fix. And the 911 system obviously is an important part of it, as is the god-awful, butt-ugly chain link fence on Marine Corps Drive and Hanum Basula that we've got out there. Hopefully the results of the election will mean that there is a slate of people at the legislature and the governor's office that can work together to resolve some of these long-standing issues.
Did you smell the Hanum Basula this morning? Because they had to wait the whole weekend, from all the Thanksgiving festivities.
Ooh. Yeah, so there's a little bit of extra stink on that, huh? Okay, I got you. Marie's back on the line. Good morning, Marie.
Good morning again, Ray Gibson.
So number 15 on the senatorial side
is Mr. Pito Terlahi, Jose Pito Terlahi.
Okay, gotcha. And he had already been in there, right? I mean, that was just a clarification.
That was making sure that, yes, clarification.
Yeah. So we did the count. They were inside the 2%, did the recount on top of everything else that came in. And as a result of that, we're able to confirm that he is the number 15 vote getter in the senatorial election. And also able to take a look at what happened on the gubernatorial race. I'm told that the gap actually widened between Lulian Guerrero and Ray Tenorio. Actually, the votes came in, and they were a big bunch of them were for Lou, right?
Right. I think I saw like 62% of the absentee and provisional ballots went to the Lou and Josh team.
Very interesting. So any word of any conversation about having a runoff election, thankfully we can't afford, has been eliminated now. It's all obsolete.
Yes. So certificates are being prepared as we speak.
Okay. Well, you know what? They're already starting to use the stationery. Just FYI. I got an email from them, and it was their statement last week, and it looked like it's they've got a seal. I mean, they've got something that looks like a seal, and I don't know if you can see it on the Facebook Live, but it actually says Office of the Governor and Lieutenant Governor Elect. So we've already got a little bit of stationery here that they're using for press releases and announcements from the transition team and all of that. But there will be a certification. Will there be a certification ceremony?
No, we did the ceremony that Guam Election Commission does happened on Friday.
Okay, so and now it's just a question of handing people the paperwork and then moving towards the transition. Yeah, I know. It's yes, the certification ceremony took place the other day. But the next step, I guess, is the inauguration. And I'm curious about something I read this morning. You can't use funds that were raised for the campaign in the inauguration?
That's correct.
Is that law?
That's there was a request to clarify that. So it was brought up in the meeting before, and on Friday, legal counsel advised that it is, if the commission agrees, it may be against law. So on the safe side, the commission said we cannot use campaign funds.
This is one of those things that it's another one that we have to write down and then send somebody over at the legislature so that they can institutionalize some of the things that we're learning. When the original question about the recount came up in the primary election and whether or not, I mean, we knew what the numbers were, but we didn't know how to get to whether we were under 2% or over 2%. That wasn't clarified, and so that's something that needs to be clarified in law, in statute now. And then this about whether or not they can use funds raised in a campaign towards the inauguration. And I'd like to is that in Chapter 3 somewhere?
Chapter 17.
Chapter 17.
Chapter 17.
Okay, I'll tell them.
Their readings of what the campaign contributions can be used for.
I'll go and see if I can find some of that, just because I am very, very curious as to where that is. Because frankly, as a taxpayer, and certainly as the taxpayer in this particular time in the government of Guam's history, I don't think we've got taxpayer money to support an inauguration. So I'd like to see it come from funds that they had raised during the campaign.
The legal counsel did say that they can raise funds for the inauguration itself, but they'd have to start a new organization.
Well, between that and the transition, I don't know if that's something that they would be working towards. And then, we were both crowing about how great it was that we had as many registered voters that were ready to vote in the gubernatorial election. Unfortunately, only 66% of them actually came out and cast a ballot. Why do you think that is?
Hard for me to tell. We will be looking at the signature rosters, and we probably will get some way of finding out. We'll find some stuff from there when they registered, and we'll probably be able to get information as when they registered, and those that registered recently, did they really show up to?
Yeah, and there's a way to track that.
Yes,
because we have everybody's name, and we also know who voted because somebody had to write it down and sign a document. So it should be within the capabilities to find out whether or not somebody that had registered had actually gone out and voted, and when they actually were registered to cast a ballot.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess they were talking about people that were concerned about all of the negative campaigning that came out, and that might have turned people off from running. I'm just not sure about that.
Yeah, and maybe
because we've seen worse. You and I in the years, we've seen some pretty nasty mudslinging floating around.
Yeah, and then something else to look at is how many people did not, who showed up to vote didn't vote for governor. And they were. I think that was noteworthy that so many did not vote for governor.
Well, is some kind of a protest maybe against I don't know the maybe they wanted a different field of candidates to select from. or maybe just showing that they were disgusted with whatever the system is. I don't know. There's a bunch of people that had registered some kind of radical complaints about the way systems were working, but it's the one that we've got. I talked to Dr. Ron McNinch this morning, and he'd like a conversation about mail-in ballots like they have in some states. Would that be difficult to institute?
Well, if we think about that, in the States, most of them can receive their ballots at their homes.
Yes.
Here on Guam, we need to take a closer look because most of us don't receive home delivery. And will that be a concern to the voting public? I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's but part of the service that you sign up for. So I might not get home delivery of my mail. I might not have the guys from Guam Solid Waste Authority come and pick up my trash, but I can still go vote. I can still go cast a ballot the regular way. But I'd sure like the convenience if I am receiving mail service at the house, to be able to receive the ballot that way and then put it back in the mail and send it back to you. And the only thing I got to do is make sure that it's postmarked on the right day.
Yeah, how about the ones that are received at the post office? That's something to talk about with the postmaster.
Okay, well, she's a nice lady like you. I'm sure that we should have no problem coming to some kind of agreement. I mean, if it's being done in other bigger places than Guam, with a population of 165,000 or so of us, or about 65,000 registered voters, shouldn't be too tricky.
And Oregon has been doing it for over 20 years.
Yeah, but you're smarter than those Oregonians. So it's all right. Ismail talking about an electronic system. He says, if the GEC develops a voting app and provides each registered voter a unique key via blockchain, which is interesting technology I don't understand. All voters can vote from the comfort of their throne. At the same time, the GEC doesn't have to spend millions of dollars in training people, hiring people, and shutting down schools. Also, the votes get counted as they come in live on the blockchain, and no way to tamper the votes as they are encrypted with AES 256, which is the same protocol the U.S. government uses to encrypt at the secret level. So obviously, there might be a couple of opportunities to work with technology to make it so that I could vote on an app or on my iPad or on my my computer laptop. Possible? And I've lost her again. And I didn't lose her. Are you there?
I'm here.
How did that happen? The funny thing is, the system put you on hold. Isn't that amazing? But there are ways that people are using technology. When you go off to these election commission conventions and workshops,
that's what we're going to be looking at.
You are looking at that kind of technology.
Well, we're looking at new machines, so we're going to look at the latest and the greatest.
And so the latest, we tried latest and greatest a few years ago. I think you still have those machines, right? The electronic ones?
No, we don't.
Really?
That was in 2008, maybe 2006.
Yeah, but they're not in the warehouse?
The warehouse we would have overspent every year for storage.
So what did you do with them?
We survey them to GSA.
So Tenden Gibetno gets to dispense with them.
Yes.
Okay. So it's probably somebody's living room now. Well, they were, incredible at the time computers that were in those systems, I recall. But they were people had problems with them primarily because, and I think most of the guys that I talked to were just upset because they didn't get a receipt. There's something that indicated that the machine recorded their vote, and these were the people that they voted for. There were a lot of people that wanted to get some piece of paper come out of it, like at the gas station.
Yes, called a voter-verified paper ballot.
I knew there was a name for it. I knew that there was going to be some kind of jargon for it. Now, do you get to go to those things all the time? Do they have them on an annual basis? I go to radio shows where they show off the latest in radio technology. They're the same thing for guys, for people like you?
Yes, they have the National Association of State Election Directors. I hope to get involved more at the county level because those are the folks that handle the elections. It's not in most states. It's not at the state level at all.
Right. So more of you'd feel more like you're a contemporary at that level as opposed to somebody at the more gigantic statewide or federal level.
Well, A lot of our functions are also covered by the state at the state level, and then the federal government helps us with the federal election of our delegate to Congress.
Yes.
So we're members at the state level, we're members at the federal level. We just need to figure out which county we want to, or which counties we want to learn from.
Okay. Well, it sounds like fun. I hope you got the money for that, though. It's finding the cash. Just ask the governor, instead of him going to D.C. To do work that they could probably do with an email, give you the money, give you the airplane tickets, and then you go off.
Well, we've gotten permission to use part of our federal funds for professional development. So we will, and of course, it's going to be used for upgrade and update of the systems. So, with that said, then it is appropriate to use part of the money to go look for the future of our election strategies.
Yeah, well, as I said, there's a lot of conversations that we need to get into, and maybe even a conversation about whether we want to have primary elections. I think there's still a lot of people that are kind of burned out about the idea that there is a primary election, which generally only works for the two major parties, and preempts somebody with a different or more diverse point of view from being able to go directly into the general election.
Yes, and there's talk about how the different ways of doing it.
Yep, and then what's the new conversation? Somebody was talking about bringing back district voting.
Beyond my pay grade, sir.
I hear that. Me too. Me too. Vote for me. I'm from District 9. Maria, I think you've done a solid job over at the Election Commission between you and the other commission members, and certainly the legal team that is earning their pay and then some, right?
Yes, and then some.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you out there, okay?
All right. Suzus Masi, Ray Gibson.
Oh, good luck with Maria Pangilinan. Always nice talking with you. And Merry Christmas to you and the family. Oh, see if the Christmas decorations are already up over at the Election Commission. We had Paul Tapau on the line for just a little bit. What was that?
Yeah, he's in a meeting and wasn't able to talk with us, but they had just released a media release here, and evidently...
This might be him on one. Is this Sergeant Tapau? Blake?
It is not Sergeant Tapau.
Oh, it's Jerry Roberts. Okay, I'm going to put you back on hold. You can talk to Mike in a second. Oh, no, never mind. I hung up on him. Anyway, so there was a bus incident?
Yeah, evidently at 6:40 this morning, officers, and I'm reading from it here, officers from the Southern Precinct Command responded to a possible shooting involving a DPW school bus.
What?
That was in transit with students while on Route 4 Malolo. The preliminary investigation says bus transporting students from Southern High School. Students heard a pop while passing the San Isidro Catholic Church in Malolo. It prompted the students to tell the bus operator. He stopped, and they found that there was a window that had a crack caused by an unknown projectile. When the officers got there, they made an assessment, gave medical attention to one student for anxiety issues. None of the injuries, no other students were injured in any way from this incident. So GDOE administrators arrived. They are giving assistance to students and their families, and the case is ongoing. But, yeah, some sort of weird bus incident this morning. South.
Well, if it was a bullet, probably would have made a bigger hole in the glass.
Yeah, small caliber though. You never, and they have safety glass on them, so they'll just, it'll just be a hole in the glass is designed so it will not shatter.
Right,
so.
It won't shatter into pieces. They'll cut you hard.
Exactly.
I got you. 20 away from the top of the hour. 888-8255. That's 888-TALK. WhatsApp me at 988-5874. Again, that is 988-5874. And there is a video that I played a little bit of it earlier, and there's a chapter 2 on this that I'm going to get to as well. Can't play the audio, so because I'm sure there's curse words and things that you shouldn't have played over the air on the actual radio. But this started coming through. I want to say Saturday, yesterday for sure. Of just a guy looking like he was having a great day, got a song playing in his head. Here it is. Draw me like one of your pretty French girls, Jack. And so he's out there. he's out there doing this thing. But it gets better. Unfortunately, I don't have the edited version of this. It's going to go for a little bit longer here. While he's out there having a conversation with some guys across the street, and they're laughing and having a good time with this fella. And so he's out there doing his little happy jig of life. There it is. That's the best part. That right there is the whole reason for coming. If you haven't seen this video, then you should. I think this is going to go down as right there next to the Ken Joe video. Hey, I know the guy that was shooting that. And then apparently later on, what to me looked like two separate videos until I started. You remember the shorts the guy was wearing, right? And then this video pops up on the feed this morning. And I don't know if we're going to play the Titanic theme from here, but King of the World, Ma, King of the World. There's a police squad car. And you're going to see a familiar face and a familiar pair of shorts getting out of that vehicle, being escorted into what I believe is the Agana precinct. There it is. There it is. Only missing the hat. And so here's the deal. This is a long and short on this. I haven't seen the magistrate reports for the weekend yet. As far as I know, they're not out. But I'm kind of curious to see what it is that they busted, what they ended up busting him for.
He looked like he bumped his little head.
He looked like he was having fun at some point, and then the policeman came and said, "You stop having fun."
That's
and maybe
when it all goes downhill.
Maybe he got violent. I don't know. So you have the right to remain silent. I have the right, but not the capability of remaining silent. Is the way that punchline
Here,
goes.
let this gun handle end that for you.
I don't know.
That's
if that
just
happened.
past
He
experience.
just fell down on the wall.
He fell into my fist. I can't help it.
I'm sorry. I'm just completely distracted by a couple of things. Not the least of which is there's apparently a point in the beard growing phase where you go through this. Oh my God! I can't make it stop itching.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like there's ticks in there.
But you know what helps? The brushing. Get you a soft brush and just brush it.
Well, I'd read on the internet this small talk portion of the program. So Thursday, I decided I wasn't going to shave.
Right.
And then Friday, I decided I wasn't going to shave either. And that was my silent protest having to come to work while everybody else I knew was taking the day off. And they were, why are you taking the day off? Well, you don't work in the government. Why are you taking the day off? Because I'm gonna. That's why. And so they did. So we're here slaving over hot microphones on Thursday. So I decided that was going to be my protest. And then it got to be Saturday and Sunday, and I still didn't feel like shaving. And now it's Monday, and the day is not over yet. It's possible that when I back in the office tomorrow, I could go back to being that clean-shaven Ray Gibson. But it's also possible that there will be a little bit less scruffiness on this. The Beard Growing 101. There's an actual article on the web that talks about it, and it suggests that when just before it's going to get so itchy you can't take it anymore, you go and do a quick trim of it, because and what it will do is it will cut the pointy edges of your beard and kind of dull them a little bit, so it won't be as itchy. It won't feel like there's fleas and ticks in there. So I'm kind of looking forward to maybe going to Kmart and getting one of those little beard trimmer devices. And if I go to Kmart and get a beard trimming device,
man, at that point,
I'm in.
you're in.
That's commitment, man. That is full blown. I don't care what my family and friends say. I'm committed. I bought something.
I mean, the only thing you can do after that is have the beard party. That's where you drink a lot of beer to celebrate that you're having a beard.
I've decided. I've committed. I've made that important step in.
It is worthy of celebration.
There's people giggling. Just I can hear them. This is the same kind of conversation that ends up with, I think I'm going to buy a Harley, right?
Or hold my beer.
I think I'm going to buy a Harley. Next thing you know, I'm going to come into the studio, I got new tattoos and an earring. Huh? Is that what's next? Is that what's next for me, guys? 9:46 in the morning, and people asking about what's next for, I don't know, Ray Tenorio. I haven't seen him. But frankly, I haven't seen him since the interview we did at the Micronesia Mall. And that was in the primary election, right? I have not really run into him since then. Certainly haven't seen or heard from him much since the actual election. But, if it was me, and after especially that election, I'd be out of town. Some people say he's out on some kind of company business, and some people say he's just gone. But I don't know. What do we got here? Jerry Roberts typing in a note here. Was trying to report a truck looks like it dumped a load of beverages in the northbound lane before you get to Kmart in the center lane on the northbound side. Okay, got that. Some kind of beverage? Milk? Water? Huh? You know, I want to say beer. You know, the words are they're already formulated in my head. I'm working on all of that. We have reached a point in the program, and I'm looking over at the table of contents, and frankly, I think I've touched on everything. We talked about Lou and Josh and their now certification as the governor and lieutenant governor elect, and that means all of the official things that they wanted to be official about can now and will commence. There have already been some meetings between this administration and the incoming administration. There's supposed to be another one today. There's also a conversation about some of the big deals that they're going to be working on over at the legislature. Session is coming up. No man's wallet is safe while the legislature is in session. Or is that going to be the case as they talk about the bills on the session agenda? Among them, there's a bill that the governor vetoed that they're probably going to override, and it has to do with, I got to say this like Kevin did. This is the kind of professionals I work with. Kevin Kerrigan did this story like 3 times today, talking about vetoing a measure that would clarify the rules in the protest-plagued procurement process. Right? He did not stumble once on that sentence. I mean, just all the way through, every single time he did it. The man just a great. The protest-plagued procurement process.
I would have thrown a pizza or something in there.
I'm surprised I haven't spit on the microphone yet. But that's one of the things that they're going to be talking about. Bill 342, introduced by Adda to Tom the Hammer Adda, to authorize the Chamorro Land Trust Commission to enter into a 50-year lease with the Guam Raceway Federation to continue the Guam Raceway Park. There's a couple of other things in here. Rules to enable the Guam Environmental Protection Agency to more effectively prevent, prepare for, and respond to the possibility of an oil spill. Yeah, I guess that's good. Can we work on having them go out there and shutting down the Hanum Basula? Can we do that? Is there a measure there that we can ask them to go out there and find these trash trucks that are just jam-packed, overloaded with trash that's got some kind of liquid in it, and the liquid mixes with all of the other trash, and it would normally be kept inside the vessel of trash. It would normally be transported to the dump, trash and Hanum Basula intact. But they don't like to do that because it means that they've got to do more runs. And so what they'll do is they'll just let it wash out. So the only thing that they're carrying is trash. And number one, it's illegal. Number two, it's unhealthy. And number three, you guys need to knock that off. Otherwise, I'm sure the federal government might at some point get involved because it's leachate. It's the same stuff that they shut down the ODOT dump over all those years ago, which led to us spending millions of dollars and more millions that are going to get spent in the process of creating new cells for us to dump the trash that, in my opinion, we ought to be burning. 10 away from the top of the hour here. There's other measures here. Bill 274, Senator Fernando Estevez, to exempt vehicle inspection fees from being applied to the gross income of safety inspection stations. This is are we at the point now where we're doing some feel-good legislation? Now, they said, as I understand it, that this is an awful lot of measures for them to go through. So they're going to be asking the senators to really, really think about, prioritize what we've got here. And you know what, if we end the 34th without having done anything with this measure, well, yeah, start the process over again in the 35th Guam legislature. Otherwise, we need you to really, really hard prioritize this. So, who's online? I know I saw Daryl Taggarty's name there. Near the recent guys in here. So I'm wondering here, Daryl, does that mean we're going to ask you to shorten up the list, but be prepared for wild card legislation? Huh? You know, and it's going to be late on a Friday afternoon, and somebody's going to say, well, we ought to adjourn. But just this one last thing. Just this one last measure here.
By the way,
I was thinking about something that maybe we ought to talk about. The camera's still on. Is the media still watching? So watch out for that. I'm enough of a jaundiced spirit here that's one of the things that I think I'm going to be on the lookout for. 10 away from the top of the hour, a couple of stories. In the process of putting this program together, friends, you know, there's a whole lot of daily stuff that I look at. And sometimes I get to it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'll look at it again a couple of days later and decide, well, it's not really timely anymore. And that's almost the case with this story here. Police in Australia, in Adelaide, arrested a man who allegedly smashed and set fire to a traffic camera and then returned a few hours later to try to burn it down again. To fuel the fire, the arsonist apparently set fire to his underwear. So, as I said, not necessarily timely. This story is a week old, in the very least. But I didn't want to miss the opportunity to talk about a story whose headline reads: "Speed camera burned by arsonist using flaming underpants."
Yeah.
This is not going to be a good radio show unless I get an opportunity to use either the words twat waffle or flaming underpants. So for today, friends, if you could, I'd really be obliged if at some point you use the words flaming underpants in your daily conversation. You might want to talk about this story. Hey, I heard Ray Gibson talking about a guy in Adelaide. I guarantee some kind of beer was involved. I guarantee it. Wanted to burn down a camera with his flaming underpants. But maybe, friends, a warning, because there's all these people that say that one of these days we ought to get speed cameras here on Guam and erect them at all of the locations and catch guys blazing through the red lights
in their flaming underpants.
And flaming under. Can I just say, just take me now. Take me now. I'm that guy. And it's a good thing there aren't a whole lot of police officers out when I'm making my way to work. Because as far as I'm concerned, at 4:30 in the morning, there are certain lights that are optional because there's nobody else around, not the least of which no police officers around. So as far as I'm concerned, if there's nobody coming and nobody going and there's nobody in a black and white around, guess what? That light for me is optional. This break, however, is not.
Hafa-day, I'm Rod Boss. As the new president and CEO of Docomo Pacific, I want to personally thank you for voting us Pika's best mobile, internet, and cable service provider for 3 years in a row. For friends and families serving in the armed forces, you voted us Best of the Pacific again this year. Thanks.
Ask your friends and family to come over and give our mobile network a try, and we'll give them 3 months free. We have select devices up to 50% off. Sign up today. You plus Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Bring joy to your world and your budget with a holiday loan from First Hawaiian Bank. At a low 4.99% APR, fixed for 1 year, it's a smart way to add ho-ho-ho without budget uh-oh. To apply for a holiday loan, visit any First Hawaiian Bank branch or FHB.com. For more information, call 1-877-640-2337. Additional restrictions apply. First Hawaiian Bank. It all starts with yes. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Once upon a time, if you suffered a stroke, extreme form of cancer, or needed specialized care like open heart surgery, you had to go off-island for treatment. Today, GRMC provides this care so patients recover on Guam, surrounded by family. Follow-up care happens locally, and there are no additional expenses for a caregiver to travel with you. If you're a federal employee or retiree, choose Calvo Select Care, the only insurance plan serving the federal market that includes GRMC, where patients are partners.
So at the Gatorade 5K, there had all kinds of vendors out there. There was a vendor out there that was giving away bowls of Korean instant noodles, right? And so I got one, gave it to a friend because I'm not into that. I can I get a sodium high when I have those kinds of things, and I'm not fond of the smell. So I gave mine to a friend, and then we noticed that the guys that were handing it out weren't really checking anything. They weren't even looking at you. They just kind of handed up. And so 5 or 6 of my friends went back 5 or 6 times and walked away with bowls of the Korean hot noodles that are out there. They're loved by all. You might see some of those floating around on Facebook if you're doing that kind of thing. A couple of interesting images on Facebook, including the ones that I posted yesterday. One from over at Gun Beach, just because that's my place to go and get grill marks. And when I was done over at Gun Beach, I thought, you know what? There's still a little bit more sunshine left. So I went over to hang out over at Jimmy D's. So if you're following me on Facebook and want to see some great shots, especially if you're following me from the States, if someplace where it's already started to get bitter cold, maybe even snowing, then hit me up, just Ray Gibson on Facebook, and take a look at some of the just gorgeous beach shots yesterday. And for the most part, there weren't a whole lot of people that were hitting the beach. And so you get these almost Vista quality to the shots. Nice to get human beings in there for some scale. Who's playing around online with me right now? I got Felix Regis, Gus Gisangas, Daryl Taggarty talking about DIE, D-Y-E, not D-I-E. Pat Bomba, Lynn Vince Borja Polino. And I don't know what you're referring to when you say, ha, bitnatsu, which is that's the Chamorro way of saying that's what you get. Yeah. It's like that. So, it's you're playing around with, I don't know, messing around with fire, you burn the house down. Hey, Benetsu. That's what you get. Kenny Williams, Renee Lau, Brian Bamba. Hey, dude. Nate Horn, Sheila Bickel, Rod Rose Greeno, Blake Watson. Is chimed in, maybe watching a little bit of the action there over at Star 101. A couple of things I wanted to finish up with, just because it's always a well attended and well put together event. Chamber had their big song fest at Agana Shopping Center over the weekend. I want to say congratulations to Tumuning Elementary, won the first place division for the elementary school. First place for the middle school division, Jose Rios Middle School, followed by Bishop Baumgartner and my alma mater, St. Anthony School. The high school division, first place won by Simon Sanchez, second place St. John's High School, and third place Ugadu High School. What happened to Father Duenas, my other alma mater? What's going on there, guys? Don't give up the ghost. 888-8255. Keep that number handy. A little bit late to use it in this program, but you might want to use it when Senator Bob Klitsky gets on the radio at 4 o'clock this afternoon. He's going to be doing another exciting round of Tall Tales. What's it going to be? I don't know. I've taken a look at the editorials this morning, so I don't know if he's going to have a very healthy press the meat section in the program. But there certainly are a number of possible conflicts that he might be able to use on his fight card as he puts that together this afternoon, again starting at 4 o'clock right here on 93.3 The Point, closing in on 10 o'clock in the morning. It's Monday here, but Sunday back in the States, and that means on Monday we bring you some other than right-wing bomb thrower programs on the radio station. So I want you to be listening for some cool programs, and then we'll get back to the right-wing bomb throwers starting tomorrow morning with Brian Kilmeade at about 10 o'clock. You know what we weren't able to talk to today? Is the new guy over at the Office of Public Accountability. He wants to do some Organic Act changes to provide for a degree of independence for him and the judiciary and the Attorney General's office. Maybe tomorrow, huh? We'll see what we can scare up for the program tomorrow. 10 o'clock in the morning, I got that news coming up. And for Kevin Kerrigan and Michael Knight and Blake Watson, everybody responsible for making this program so much fun for me, this is Ray Gibson. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
Tears and tear gas at the U.S.-Mexico border. I'm Jane Metzler, Fox News. Today, hundreds of Central American migrants tried to cross into the U.S. This Honduran woman sang through a